Thanks again for being here. Appreciate you sharing your time with us. Let's make this another productive day. As usual, we need to do a short recap of last week's sessions, not recap, but any questions, any suggestions from last week's sessions that you may have, anything that you need to have clarified. We could go over that quickly. Today's session is going to be on automation, which we Leighton will take over in a while, and then I'll do a session on the importance of data analysis and the importance of cybersecurity, especially in this e-commerce space. So any questions? Okay, silence is golden. We do have questions that were posted last week that we need to just go over. I don't think they were addressed last week, so I'm gonna go over those quickly. And if whoever asked this question, if you're in the space, I'd like for you to just clarify the question or just repeat it within the space so that we have a better understanding. The question is, does ETNIV and Get Paid allow automatic emailing? Or would we have to get a plugin? How many plugins does ETNIV support? All right, so let me answer the first one. So ETNIV and Get Paid. Now, ETNIV is a separate platform from Get Paid. With ETNIV, it's an e-commerce marketplace, and it comes with a series of supporting tools that are already built in. So yes, for order verification, for orders from engagement to delivery, there's automatic email. So as soon as you get an order, it alerts you either on your mobile device or via email to let you know that you have an order. Whenever you say the order is ready to be shipped, or whether you ship that order, it automatically does all the engagements for you. So it would reach out to your shipper, it would reach out to the customer, it will do a series of automatic emailing. We also have email marketing that's built in. So if you have a customer's email and you want to engage them on email marketing, you could just plug in that information and email potential customers and whatever deals that you may have coming up. Get Paid, I would allow Leighton to answer that directly. Next question was, how many plugins does ETNIV allow? As I said, we have, again, we were built with the understanding that businesses fail, the majority of businesses fail because of operations, right? Operations is expensive. Operation requires streamlining. It requires a lot of resources. It requires immense time management and investment. So understanding that we are building applications for a space where the small businesses lack the resources, lack the know-how, we built in most of the tools that you would need, from supply management, product management, as you said, emailing, ways to engage with your customers. Just again, it's a series of tools. We maybe have 12, 13. We have accounting that's built into the back. So you have basic accounting that you could just generate at the end of the month or at the end of the year that you could send off to the person that's filing your taxes. HR in terms of check it when employees check in, when they check out. Series of tools in the back for that. When does ETNIV, when choosing ETNIV or Get Paid, do we purchase our domain? So with ETNIV, you would be on a marketplace, but we'll give you a direct link to your store that you could share with customers. And we would always encourage you to have a separate domain where you have your own website, always. Whether you're doing e-commerce in that site or not, it's a recommendation that I bring to the space as a professional, always, even if you're on Amazon, Etsy, whatever it is, have your own website, just in case something happens. And again, the way that I look at it is, let's say, for instance, you're selling out of, you have your own storefront, wherever that is, and you're selling products there. We're going to use a real world example. Let's say in Jamaica, you have your own storefront that you're selling a product. a big box store, like a Hilo or another supermarket, come to you and say, I would love to carry your products. Are you going to turn them down? For me, I see that as an opportunity for you to sell at an additional channel. I would say yes. You put a contract in place and allow them to sell your products, right? It's similar to what we were talking about with Wayne and his products last week. He's selling his products out of his store, but then you have restaurants that are also selling his products. If you're on a marketplace, it does not prevent you from having your own store or from being on multiple marketplaces, right? Once you have the resources to manage those things. One of the other things that I needed to address was based on Roland and something that he said a couple of weeks ago. And I know as small businesses, we tend to, the next steps, right? We're eager for the next steps, but there's a fear factor, right? When we're stepping into the unknown, and this is why Leighton and I are doing these sessions, when you're stepping into the unknown, am I ready for that space? What if this happened? What if that happens? All right. As far as I see it, you have invested a lot of time and energy in building your business. I can tell you, based on what we have built at ETNIV, we are here to guide you every step of the way. All right? It's a hand-holding process for us. We provide you with the tools, but we don't just let you go and say, hey, here is this great big role and just go conquer it. No, we will guide you through the entire process. If you have products that you need to sell, you have a development process that you need to set in place. We understand that. And we will guide you through that. And you said, okay, let's limit the resources that you're saying that you're putting out there. You could only supply 10 of these items. Yes. So then we guide you through the communication process with your consumers and say, all right, we are one of a kind, we are handmade, or we had limited amount of these stuff. These are all, whatever your narrative is, it's communicating that with the consumers. So yes, I understand the fear, I understand the risk factor, but we are here to guide you through that. And I know with any one of the platforms that you're dealing with within this space, that is the professionalism that should come with those platforms, with these platforms. All right. Let's see if there are any other questions here. No, on this question, just. All right, Leighton, I don't know if you want to jump in and add to your plugins and the tools for Get Paid.
Sure. Morning, everybody. All right, so good questions. Shows that you are evaluating and thinking about your technological choices. Where Get Paid is concerned, as I've mentioned before, that our core offering is really to help entrepreneurs and business teams to service their clients wherever they are, anywhere, anytime, without much hassle, in a scalable way that supports any business model. So whether you're starting off or you're a big company, there's a solution for you at different scales. The offering that we introduced is an introductory offering, one for a $50 setup, $20 per month, gets you the Get Paid engine. Our Get Paid engine, as I mentioned to you, is our WordPress core. It's the belly of every e-commerce platform that we sell to our customers. With that setup, where the email is concerned, you get the automatic emails around every transaction. So as Gilbert have mentioned, things related to your order, getting automatic receipts being sent to you, getting shipping status updates sent to you, anything at all around your order. Where, because it is WordPress based, there are many email marketing solutions that we can plug onto it. So that doesn't come out the box, an email marketing solution for you to use. We have one that we use, but again, what we're giving to persons is the engine, it's the stripped down version of it. It is now for the customer to determine what they want to add to that, So email marketing can be added, and you are able to integrate any email marketing solution of your choice. So if you are already using MailChimp, Constant Contact, HubSpot, any popular email tool out there, it can be added on. Where plugins are concerned, let's say it's a WordPress-based solution. WordPress has a minimum of about 50,000 different plugins out there. I've seen where persons wanted to make snowfall on their website, and there was a plugin for that. So in other words, it's almost a plugin for everything that you can think of. And where plugins are missing, we're able to develop custom applications to fill those gaps. Right? Where the domain is concerned, so for the get paid engine at that low cost, we give you a subdomain. So let's say, for instance, your company is Nichols Beauty. Your subdomain will be something like nicholsbeauty.getpaid.app. That would be your default domain, which is a subdomain really of the original get paid solution. You can choose to upgrade your domain setup by purchasing a domain and have us migrate the application to that domain. So full customization, full scalability, what we're offering is a cheap and easy way to get started and then scale up and add anything that you want to add from there on. And that answers the questions related to the applications, emailing, plugins, and domain. Oh, where hosting is concerned, you definitely get a hosting for free as well. So, well, not for free, it is covered in the maintenance cost. So $20 per month covers both the hosting of the platform as well as the maintenance and upkeep of the platform. Again, I just say there are all of these things are upgradable. You can add landing pages, you can add additional systems. Also, given the engine at bare bones, you can determine the features that you want to add there. And just like a car, you know, you have a Benz, you have a Suzuki, you have a Toyota, they all have an engine, bare bones, you know, the engine and the frame. And then different ones have different features that you add on, and as you realize, all of them have different costs. Same concept, yes? So I hope that was clear. If you have any further questions, feel free to drop them in the chat or voice them here on the call. All right. Gilbert, anything that you want to get into before we start the automation?
No, all over to you. Unless anyone else has a question, again, anything that needs further clarification, anything from last week, anything from this week, any suggestions, anything that we may have missed, everything that we have overlooked, anything that may address you personally. Silence is golden. Let's go. All you, Leighton.
All right. Let me just bring up my my screen on my end. Did I see my screen?
Yeah, you can see your screen.
Yeah, great. Thanks for confirmation. Morning again, guys. So today's session talks about scaling your e-commerce business with automation. A lot of times when we think about building a website, you know, we're thinking about how it is that we're going to use this website to sell. And the benefits, one of the key benefits of e-commerce is the whole concept of what you can do with it when you're not actively engaged in the business, meaning that how can the business run 24/7 without you having to go on and move the needle, everything that needs to be done. Unlike an offline business where people would manually do everything, e-commerce facilitates a lot of automation, a lot of it really enhances your ability to run a business 24/7, which means that you can be sleeping, wake up in the morning to orders, can be sleeping, wake up in the morning to deliveries being done, can be sleeping, waking up to cash in your bank account. How do we turn on different features or different systems or different processes and strategies that enable us to maximize the setup of our e-commerce business. All starts and ends with how we approach automation, right? And automation can be done in many different ways. At the end of the day, you can even use data to drive automation, which I know Gilbert will be getting into shortly. So this automation module is pretty short. So we'll be pretty much running through 3 different topics today, as Gilbert mentioned: automation, data, and security. So we're going to talk about some of the key things. Some of the key things that we need to focus on where automation is concerned. All right. The topics today we'll be looking at: marketing automation, centralizing your operations, automating our key processes, and customer relationship management, right? So as I mentioned, after developing a website, the key thing now is how is it that, we promote, and then, once we get persons coming in to our sales pipeline, buying from us, getting the business going, the next step here is looking at how is it that we can use technology to save ourselves time and money while maximizing on the sale opportunity, right? Marketing and automation overall supports all of these factors. Automation is the thing that is going to make you move from hiring 10 people to do a job to maybe down to 8, I'm not going to say it's going to cut your workforce by half, but it's definitely going to help you to remove some elements of some of the resources that you would have had to employ otherwise. One of the key things as well with automation is that it forces you to be more structured in the way how you go about engaging with the customer from a process perspective. So you have to be very clear about what you want to have done and how you want to have it done, what intervals you want to have them done, and so forth. It requires a very structured approach. It's almost like you're engineering a process when you choose to add technologies to drive engagement with customers, with staff, just to drive efficiency overall, right? But let's start with marketing automation, because that's one of the automatic first starting points. That's one of the automatic starting points for automation, where upon running your ads, upon spending monies in driving traffic to your website, you want to first and foremost optimize the monies that you've spent in developing that traffic, right? What I mean by this, 9 times out of 10, the first time a customer lands on your website will not be the time that they buy. If a customer comes to the website the very first time, chances are they won't buy that first time. They may be going through a discovery process. Remember, we talked about leads, lead generation, different phases that leads go through. And first time website visitor is not your hottest lead, So what you want to do is to put yourself in a position where you are, nurturing your leads as you capturing your leads and nurturing them as you market. So what do I mean by this? What I mean is that if you advertise out there and 10,000 people see your ads, and let's say you did such a wonderful job at your ad, at all 10,000 persons visited, chances are maybe only 100 will buy. No, 10,000 people saw the ads, 10,000 people visited the website. How can I capture the interest or engage with these 10,000 people in a way that allow me to expand the spend of my advertising? So I spent, say, $100 to get these 10,000 people to visit my website. If I can capture their contact information, then it gives me communication. It opens up communication channels for me to re-engage with them, to nurture that lead, to share more information with them, give them discounts, offer tips on how to use the solution, share benefits, and these types of things, right? So right away you're seeing where, all right, I've spent $100 to generate 1,000 visitors to my website. Maybe only, I say, to 10 baht, for argument's sake. Let's throw that around. The 10 baht. How do I still get the most out of that $100 spend? Automation is one of those things, right? So automation refers to software platforms and technologies designed for marketing departments and organizations to more effectively market on multiple channels online and automate repetitive tasks. So for example, one of those repetitive tasks that you could look at engaging persons in is something like a welcome email or a marketing email where somebody comes on the website and take a particular action. You want to automatically engage them with information. These are things that you can use automation to support, right? E-commerce marketing automation, we can automate the advertising process whereby a lot of what we do in digital advertising is what we call programmatic advertising. And what programmatic advertising means is that you actually utilize campaign managers, digital campaign managers, systems, the digital campaign manager systems that allows you to schedule when an ad is supposed to run, upload the advertisement media, so whether it is video, pictures, text, and have that automatically run in the background of your business. You're not out there handing out flyers, you're not out there putting up billboards, you're not out there running ads on the radio, right? What we do is programmatic advertising, and that type of advertising allows you to automate a lot because you can go in one time for the year and set up all the ads that you want to run for the year. So if that you have set up a calendar of events, Valentine's Day, Mother's Day, Father's Day, Teacher's Day, summer sale, you know, emancipation, so that's emancipation and independence celebrations. Black Friday, I know a lot of Caribbean countries are taking on a lot of the initiatives of the US. So Black Friday sales, Thanksgiving, you know, if it is that again, your country adopts some of these sale occasions, Christmas, Easter, right? If you have a calendar of events for the entire year, you could literally go into your advertising platforms, Google, Facebook, YouTube. I know Twitter has its own platform, not as widely used as Instagram and Facebook. Can set up things like SMS, automation as well, campaigns. So these are programmatic ways of programming your advertising, right? And this is an automation exercise. Also, you could say set up a programmatic advertisement to remarket to existing website visitors. So somebody land on your website today, they have not made a purchase. Even if they make a purchase, you can set it up in a way where automatically that person is being remarketed. So they went on your website and they clicked on our shoes. And they're browsing the rest of the internet and the shoes is just following them around like it's haunting them, it's stalking them. That is programmatic re-advertising, right? Remarketing. And you're able to do this both on Facebook and on Instagram, right? With those ad managers. So these are some of the automation tactics that you would typically want to exercise when doing things like that, right? You're talking about website landing pages now. All right. So we get persons to visit. We get persons to visit the website. How do we engage them on the website in an automated way? We can set up things like pop-ups, right? That automatically engage the customer the minute they open the page. Or maybe set this pop-up to engage the customer visitor a minute into their using the landing on the website, right? And these pop-ups can automatically redirect customers to a particular initiative, promotion, or product that you want to draw attention to. The pop-up could also collect their email address to get them into their mailing list. I'm sure that we say this a lot when we're browsing the internet. There are things that we call exit intent campaigns, meaning that somebody's about to click the X on the browser to close the page. A pop-up comes up to engage them, whether it is get them into the mailing list or to showcase a product that we know that most customers are likely to take interest in. So in other words, it keeps you on the website for longer or it redirects you again before you leave, right? These are automations that automatically happen and gives every single customer the exact same experience. One of the things that I've been doing with my own business right now, being that, you know, as I said, we've been recently been acquired, name change, and we're just restructuring our entire marketing, is to actually develop a customer journey around our marketing that allows every single mailing list subscriber to go through the exact same process. So whether a subscriber joined the mailing list today, they joined it last year, they joined it next year, you're going to receive the exact same set of emails and content being sent to them in the exact same format and with the exact same messaging. Well, because we want to bring persons through a uniform process where they are educated about the products that we sell and we get them to take desirable actions that we want to take. What do I mean by this again? What I mean is that if I want a customer to purchase a product from me, and I know that it's going to take some convincing to get that customer to purchase them, maybe I want to share 6 emails that tell the customer about the product, give them convincing reasons to buy, showcase benefits, and just bring them through that journey. You know, if it is that maybe I would have taken up the phone call and had this conversation with them, what are the points of action or what are the things that I need to share with them or things I need to tell them to get them interested in making this purchase? It's the same thing that we would send them by email and automate the entire process. And, you know, there's a concept that I am introducing to all of my clients, I want to share with you guys as a way of building your sales funnel through automation, which is building a community around your brand and marketing to that community. So what do I mean by this? Community can be an email list, can be an Instagram page, can be anywhere that you gather information or your customers come together to experience your brand, right? In doing so, you find that generally most persons who have never heard about your brand would need more information oftentimes, especially when we sell complicated products or products that need a lot of demystifying for the customer to understand so they can purchase. Requires us to share a lot of content and information with them around that. So what and we have seen it, we have seen persons on social media do this a lot. They amass a following of 10,000 followers or 20,000 or 100,000 or even 500,000 to 1 million. And ever so often you see them pushing things to that audience of persons, whether it is they're promoting something for somebody that they charge them to broadcast on their page, or they are selling some other service. So in other words, the idea is build a community around the brand and sell and promote to that community. And using automation to do this can be an easy exercise, right? So you could use your digital advertising to generate traffic, use your website landing page to engage and collect the customer's information, and then use remarketing tactics to engage a customer with emails, SMS, any other channel that gives them direct communication, directly engage them around your brand and what you have to offer, right? And of course, another part of the automation pipeline is when you're looking at marketing automations, how do we get customers to sign up for a purchase, right? So we spoke earlier about, you know, capturing persons information when they visit the landing page. But all right, person, you have captured the person's information. How do you get that person to sign up or make a purchase? Of course, you mentioned remarketing to those persons. I mean, the e-commerce engine itself is an automated tool that supports persons doing things all on their own without any support. So somebody could easily land on your website, go through the sales process, complete a purchase all on their own without any support from anybody. That in and of itself is an automated process. But let's say, for instance, somebody left a product in their, an item in their shopping cart, and you could automatically re-engage, say, hi, Mr. Campbell, we realize that you left this product in your shopping cart, please buy it before it goes out of stock, something like that, you know. I automatically there based on the customer's activity or engagement on your platform, you're able to remarket to them, to get them to come back in and complete a sale that they started. So they started the sales process. How do you get them to complete the process without having to call every single person? First and foremost, you don't even have the resources to tell who visited your website and left products in their shopping cart to even call them on your own. So the system can automatically do it. The text that somebody left something in their shopping cart and re-engaging. All right, so I see a question is coming up here. I saw a hand. Was it Eugene?
Yes, yeah, that was me. Thank you. You made a very good point about the opt-in. Normally there are sites called like ConvertKit and Aweber. These are email marketing list software that persons use, because sometimes somebody will visit your website, and according to research, it has shown that most persons don't purchase at the first time. You have to keep on coaxing them to make a final purchase. But as you said, with those softwares like Aweber, ConvertKit, for example, it'll continue to target those customers until they eventually make a purchase. So I said, as you said, is one of the things to include in our website that will allow you to get your customers to make the ultimate purchase. But does WordPress, does it have those options to continue reaching those customers to eventually make a purchase? Does it have those things in it?
Oh, definitely, definitely. I would say with WordPress, the beautiful thing about WordPress is that WordPress has over 50,000 plugins and marketing automation. You can find maybe at least 20 to 50 different marketing automation tools on WordPress. I personally use MailPoet. MailPoet is WordPress #1 email marketing solution. I normally use WordPress, MailChimp. I normally use MailChimp, the world's largest and most popular email marketing tool, because I know I got a lot of nice features for free with MailChimp. But MailPoet is WordPress's #1 email marketing tool. And what's the difference really? The difference here is that MailChimp is built for anybody who just wants to send out an email marketing campaign to their customers. MailPoet does very similar things, but MailPoet is geared more towards the person who has a WordPress website and want to leverage the automation capabilities of our WordPress website. So the difference really is that MailPoet is a lot comes out the box to fit with website marketing, whilst MailChimp just digital marketing overall. So when they are promoting something that you just to share, MailChimp has you there. But MailPoet, what I find is that MailPoet offers a lot of things out the box that you have to upgrade in MailChimp to get. So things like exit intent campaign mean that feature when you get that pop-up when your mouse is moving towards X. Every single platform I know outside of MailPoet offers this as a premium feature. MailPoet offers this out the box, right? Of course, you get your first 1,000 emails for free, and then once you go over 1,000 emails, you're gonna start paying. And I have no problem with paying. I just want to be able to start for free, get it right, get it helping me making some money, and then I can scale up with it. You understand? But the reason why I love MailPoet is because it comes out the box with other things. So even for instance, the abandoned cart notification, again, because it's integrated on the website, it's built for us, it does it very easily. Many other platforms do it. MailChimp, they all do it. It's just a matter for me that MailPoet does it the easiest. And as the MailPoet is the WordPress's largest email marketing tool for WordPress. And because it's for WordPress, I definitely recommend if you're not using WordPress, and you can always use your MailChimp and other applications that may be more pro your platform. But there are many different email marketing. I think email marketing is where a lot of the internet automation started. And because of that, you know, a lot of tools are out there, a lot of investment has been made in different types of solutions. And, you know, the solutions are many. Some of them present themselves as, you know, all-in-one platforms, like maybe like what Gilbert may have set up, where he has a platform that has all these different things embedded in it, or email marketing, maybe an email marketing system all on its own. But email marketing is one of those things that, as a website, as an e-commerce business owner, the most get into is that it's one of those low-hanging fruits that you can pick and have a high impact on your business. I can tell you that I have not been marketing my business for the last year and a half. It's only because of, you know, quality work that we've done so far while we continue to get busy. But I can tell you, the minute I start marketing back using email marketing, I'm going to be seeing at least 5 to 10 leads in my email every campaign minimum. And that's kind of what we've grown to expect from that. And you know what, too? You find that when you opt in persons in your mailing list in that manner, you're going to find that your open rate becomes higher. You know, a lot of us have tried email marketing in the past. One of the biggest complaints is that, boy, people not opening the emails. People not reading the emails, people not clicking the emails. But you see, because you would have signed up persons who are interested in receiving those emails, you get a higher rate of engagement with those emails, right?
I have a question.
Sure, go ahead.
Okay, with regards to well, the website or the website landing page, would you say that the design or formatting of information placed on either and also the colors used would entice an individual to actually want to purchase from you? Sometimes persons don't think of coloring, but I think it's important as well.
Almost definitely, most definitely. At the end of the day, guys, you know, we're in a competition for people's money as business owners. And it's the same way how when you walk into a high-end salon, it's very nice, it's very plush, it's very chic, it oozes comfort and relaxation, and just gives you that vibe to come and sit down and just sit down and take a search for the entire day. And that's the difference between walking into a hair shop where people are just sitting, you know, over your braiding your hair in a place with no AC, not very properly lit, not very attractive. At the end of the day, guys, we have to make ourselves attractive for persons to buy. In Jamaica, we were saying that if you don't look big, if you don't look like you're doing something big, people don't really look at you. And it's because people are attracted to things and service providers who are doing things well. You know, we want to walk into a business place and feel like they're doing well, even just by the perception of their welcome area, their front office. The reason why investment houses, when you go to their office, it just looks very rich, even if the company isn't rich. You understand? So your website front end is no different, guys. Your website front end has to be very attractive. It has to really portray the essence of your brand and what it is that you are offering to the market. And what do I mean by this? I have gone through the experience of having to tweak my own website multiple times to get it to look like what customers are going to expect. So for instance, I'm in a tech space. Website must look techy, must look first world, must look trustworthy, and it must look like it is in line with any other person, any other company that the company may compare us against. The same thing with a beauty service provider like Nickel's Beauty. You want to, you know, have your salon set up and look different from every other salon, and you also want your website to portray that. So using colors is, if it is that your brand is a colorful brand. There are brands out there that are not big on colors. I did a website recently for an investment firm here in Jamaica, launched by some persons who just left Scotiabank. Big deal, you know, Prime Minister was a part of the launch, and their heads of government, not government, but we got design come up. I was like, man, I really love this. But when you actually, guys, are you hearing me? Are you hearing me? Just checking. Are you hearing me?
Yeah, I'm hearing.
Great.
Yeah, you went out for a little bit, but you're back. Yes.
Right, I realized. Right. Right. So I was saying that we did just complete our complete website for our investment firm. That, you know, is very just being launched and just attracting a lot of public attention. It made me realize that persons who are starting this thing are you know, are people who are affluent and very recognized. And the website was like black and white. So I was like, why are these guys doing this black and white thing? You know, with a touch of blue. I didn't love it. But that's their brand essence. Their brand essence is about being very calculated, very numbers driven, very not colorful, you know. But somebody who is in the arts, the music, there's another company that I wanted to draw your attention called Pure Chocolate. This company in Jamaica that makes chocolate, homegrown chocolate here in Jamaica. And they chose the path of actually getting artisans to an artist. I don't remember who it was, but they got persons, I think from Edna Manley out here, who, you know, studied art to actually design the different looks and feels of different of the different flavors. And if you look up Pure Chocolate, you know, you can just Google it right now. You look at it, you see it's very colorful, very vibrant, very pretty, loud colors, you know, and because you cannot not see the wrapper on any shelf when you're passing, it just looks very premium. It matches with the quality that they are selling, you know. So when they developed their website, I've spoken to the owner before. I said, boy, you know, you have to translate all of this on your website. So, you know, when I was doing a speech at Heart Foundation here in Jamaica, they were a part of it. I said, you know, you have to you know, represent your brand online the same way how your brand looks offline. When you look at their display stands out amongst anybody else in the room because of these loud colors, you know. So if somebody's gonna see that display, go to their website. The website must match how they are presenting themselves offline as well. So that's very important, guys. But there's a trust factor that we have to overcome, you know, with internet selling. And a part of that trust factor is that people need to see us how they expect to see us, and we need to look the same way consistently everywhere. So if we are offline looking at particular, we need to look the same way online, and that's very important, right? And you will find that, you know, your leads don't convert until you're able to tell that consistent story about your brand, the value that you communicate, the value that you offer, and, you know, those how persons are able to interact with and engage with your brand. So that's very, 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 very important, right? But of course, as we mentioned, automation. So I hope that answered the question. But all in all, I say automation helps to bring it all together, right? I say I've gone through the process of, you know, redeveloping websites to appeal to the market that I'm going after, to ensure that when I'm running my ads, when I'm generating my leads, because everything comes back down to the sale, you know, guys. Everything comes back to the sales. So if you're generating leads from a landing page for signups or inquiries about your products, and when you're calling them back, you realize that these are not persons who are interested in your brand. These are not persons who are your potential customers. And there's something wrong with your messaging and your look and feel of your website and your advertisement. So for instance, I still have SMS for business service where you can use my SMS platform and send out campaigns to your customer base. I've seen persons come to me before for dating text service. I didn't even know that existed, right? I don't even know what that is, because I haven't even looked at it. But I've gotten this request, free text. Persons who are looking to send free text using the internet. Persons who want to use dating text systems, you know. So we get these types of inquiries, And when we get them, oftentimes I look back at you know, the messaging, the types of ads, who we're targeting, to see how we can weed out these types of persons who are generating, or rather weed out the types of strategies or tactics that are causing us to generate these types of leads. At the end of the day, guys, the sale, the quality of the conversation that you're having tells you whether or not you are being successful at using automation to generate leads for your business, right? So of course, just going back through the list of different automation tactics, you have your mailing list opt-in, as I mentioned to you. Mailing list opt-in is, of course, I said, that pop-up or that space on the page where persons oftentimes ask to leave your contact information, which oftentimes, sometimes only your email, sometimes your email and your name, sometimes your email and name and a phone number. People try to keep it very simple as possible to get persons in, depending on how much information you deem is valuable for your business. You can determine how much information you require from person for them to get into your list, right? Sometimes you may want to call these persons back. That's why I may ask for a phone number, right? But again, you know, email marketing is one of those low-hanging, cheap tools that we can use. So I encourage everybody to use it. It from the beginning of time till now, it has proven to be one of the better e-commerce lead generators, whether you're selling B2B products or B2C products. I would tell you it works especially for B2B. Email marketing is the lifeline of B2B online marketing, right? You can't not do that once you're in the B2B space. Then, of course, having call to actions on your website are the things that make persons take the necessary actions that you want them to take. So, for example, you'd have seen me use my website before, show my website before, where on the homepage it says get an e-commerce audit, because I am all about providing e-commerce solution. For me to provide an e-commerce solution for you, I need to do an assessment, you know, have a meeting with you. So right away, once you land on my website, I'm telling you, hey, get an e-commerce audit or get pricing. Strong call to action that speaks to the natural things that persons need. So if you're in the business of selling hair products like Nikhil's Beauty, you may want to use a call to action like book an appointment here or buy now if you're going to be selling your lipsticks or pushing your lipsticks, or even in the case of work class, you can say learn more here, you know. But you want to have these call to actions right through your website. Don't assume that customers will land on your website and know exactly what to do. Tell them what to do. Lead them down that path that you want them to take using call to actions, right? And we're using call to actions that speaks to the need that we know the customer is coming to you for, right? And of course, you have direct marketing and remarketing campaigns, which is where, as we mentioned before, you use things like your remarketing tools in your campaign managers for Facebook and Instagram to just, you know, go back after persons based on different actions, whether it's the visit to the website, whether it is the and they fill out a mailing list, enter the mailing list, or maybe they completed a person and want them to come back again, or maybe it is that they left something in their cart and want them to purchase that thing that was left in your cart, right? Yes, I've seen here a comment here about effective call to action. I say, guys, can't stress how much call to actions play a very big role in doing this, right? So these are some of the key things here that are important. So I just want to quickly share with you some examples of what this looks like. So lead magnets. Did I mention lead magnet? Okay, great. Okay. So lead magnets are tools, are resources that we position to persons to provide some value to them so that they can give us the information that we need. So it's like we're saying, hey, I have this thing that is so valuable. It's worth so much money, or it can do so much for you just by you consuming this information. Give us your email to access it, right? So this is an example here of a project that we worked on. This client offers travel services in Jamaica. I encourage her to develop a resource that did not exist at the time, which was developing a list of all available tours in Jamaica, the prices, descriptions about them, so that people who want to have fun in Jamaica automatically can get something that points them to all the right places. And what I told them to do is that have it on your website where once persons want to start having fun, they can download this travel guide. So it says here, let the fun begin. See Jamaica's #1 travel guide right away. And click it, automatically you see here where you have to leave your name, email address, and subscribe. So once you subscribe, then they would have sent you that that travel guide to your inbox, right? So instead of actually having, so one way how people do this incorrectly now is that they would just attach a link to the to this button. You click on this button and automatically the travel guide comes up in a PDF and you can download it. But now you've offered this great resource that you have invested monies into developing, and you have not gotten a thing back from the customer for this great value that you have provided. The minimum that you should be asking for is at least an email address to access this information. Get persons into your mail list, and this is how we, as I said, guys, build the community, market to the community. Reason for building the community is to build trust. Reason why I need to build trust, because people won't buy from you online until they trust you. Oftentimes we do sell products that persons need to understand more about before they buy. And as you have heard earlier, that most website visitors will not buy on the first go. So having a lead magnet can also be an offer. Get 20% off to join our mails and get automatic 20% off. And they send you an email with your discount coupon. The email, this e-commerce systems that we offer, the same get paid engine that I mentioned, offers the ability to set up coupons. So you can set up discount coupons and allow persons to check out and apply that coupon and get that discount on your store. You can choose to discount your products. You can choose to discount shipping. Let's say, for instance, you want to give them a free shipping coupon, or maybe you want to give them a cart coupon, meaning that, all right, I'm going to give you 20% off whatever you order. Or I can give you a product-related coupon to say, all right, if you buy this particular product, you get X percentage off, right? These are different things that you can use as lead magnet. So a lead magnet can be a resource, it can be an offer, right? So a digital asset is a good lead magnet. It can also be a video of the product or something. It's something of value, something that we know the customer will want once they're interested in what you're selling. Why do we do this? Because we want to optimize the rate at which that mailing list is growing. As you said, guys, build the community, market to the community. So of course, as part of building the community, growing the community, right? So we want to have something like this on our website to do this. So what did I do? I'm trying to remember if it's my course or downloadable asset. I did something like this on my website as well. And it works. Bottom line, it works. All right, so I see Shan here saying that she's asking her audience what lead magnets work for them. Voting is happening now because I came up with 4 ideas and couldn't decide which one to do first. Shan, I want you to divulge the findings of your poll as soon as the information becomes available, right? Hopefully, when I said happening now, I don't know if you meant on this call right now, this minute, or for this period, but we want to hear the outcome of those results.
You hear me?
Yes, I'm hearing you now.
Yes, and Chan here. So so not on this call with my fellow VEAP colleagues, but on social media. So next week in next week class, I'll be happy to divulge what the results of that will, because some people telling me you should do all sounds great, but I mean I don't have to work on 4 documents at the same time. So yeah, I'll be happy to share that with the class next week. Yeah.
And in a sense, what we're really asking the audience is what value they would be most important or most valuable to them, you know? what it is that they would want from you as a great resource. So for instance, in my business, strategy is very important. Other persons come to us as strategists. So strategic documents are documents that you can use as lead magnets. Even for instance, if you're in the digital marketing space here or anything like that, you can even use things like a template. If let's say for instance you have a content management or content planning template, you can share these resources and have persons download them. There are many different lead magnet options. Just a matter of what do you think your audience would appreciate as a free gesture enough for them to give you their email to get it. And remember, guys, the reason why we do it this way is so that they must give you the correct email. If you don't give me the correct email, then the asset won't be sent to you, right? You could do it. You could do this in a way where a person fills out the form, and then the next screen it brings you to the document. But the risk of that is that the person can give you an incorrect email and still access the tool. The benefit for that is that the customer gets access immediately and won't have to leave your website to go to their email marketing app to get access to that document. Sometimes documents can go to spam as well. These are some of the issues that you may encounter, which is why you may opt to move from this screen to the PDF screen after they subscribe. But for me personally, I like to ensure that the customer gives the correct information. So I would rather send it to them via email. So these are the slight changes that you can make, guys, that make a whale of a difference in how you execute. Oftentimes in what we're doing from an e-commerce and marketing perspective, it's not that we're doing something greatly wrong, it's just that we're not thinking about it in the most logical way that makes sense for us and for our customers, right? So understanding these concepts will help us to make better decisions as it relates to how we engage customers, how we generate leads. Because after you build a website, guys, the next thing that you want to do is marketing. You want to get as many eyes as possible on it. You want to get as much person as possible into your mailing list. And then you want to re-engage those persons as much as and as frequently as is deemed reasonable. Persons, there are different viewpoints on email marketing and should you be spamming your customers? Should you not? There's a train of thought to say that if you're not spamming your customers, you're not doing email marketing right. But for me, it's not about spamming or not. It's mainly about, am I engaging with my audience in the way and within at the frequency that they want me to engage them? A high net worth customer may value a comprehensive email once per month, but because they just don't have time to reading all these emails, versus somebody who has a lot of time on their hands who may be okay with receiving emails weekly. These are things that we have to think about, and we have to think about it based on our customer base. I signed up recently for this workshop with Grant Cardone. He's one of those internet marketers who boast about making millions or billions. US based entrepreneurs or tech entrepreneurs who do courses and stuff like that online. I just signed up for it because I know somebody who was doing a program with him and found it quite engaging. I have not had the time to even blink over there, but I got into the mailing list, and man, this man would kill me with emails to the point where I had to unsubscribe. He was just filling up my inbox. It was just too much. And these are the guys who are saying that, well, if you're not spamming, you're not doing it well. But I don't want to be spammed. Yes, I signed up, so it's not necessarily spamming, but I don't want to receive that much information on something that I have not bought as yet, or am I not ready to buy, Sean, I see your hand up.
Yes, Leighton, that's one of the things that I wanted to ask about. So in two questions. One was you made a point about nurturing leads. My challenge is exactly that. It's figuring out how to nurture them, how much is enough emails, how much is, you know, so that you don't, because I have signed up for things too and get bombarded by emails. I'm like, this is just way too many emails. So capturing the leads is not the problem, is nurturing them is my challenge. So what are some tips, if you can share, what are some tips to nurture them after you've captured them? So to keep them, you know, to keep them active, because I tend to fall off ever so often, and then I come back and then I fall off again. So I'm trying to be a bit more consistent where that is concerned. And the last, the point you were just making about, oh gosh, I don't know why it slipped, man. What did you just say? What did you just say? Oh, my brain.
I don't, what was that? I think you talked about the frequency, and also I would say sharing content based on how the customer expects to be engaged with.
Right, yes, and figuring out how to, so like for instance, so I had like a virtual puppet show, because a part of what I do work with children, right? So it wasn't a problem. It was a free puppet show, captured plenty email addresses and stuff, because you have to sign up to register to bring your child. But I kind of not talking to them right now. So it's always, for me, it's always trying to figure out, especially as a service provider, how to keep them engaged. And one of the ways that I decided to get back to is to restart. Oh, I know, I remember what I was gonna say. The other thing is that a lot of my email list is quiet, is dormant. So I'm wondering if it's okay to either A, try to figure out how to re-engage them, or B, give them the option to unsubscribe, because then my content is no longer appealing to them and it doesn't make sense for them to just stay there. And I have this big number of email addresses, and is not realistic, because only 10% or 20% of them are the ones who actually want to hear my content. So that was the other part as well too. Yeah, finally remember. So Andrea laughing at me for forgetting while I talk.
All right, so let me, so I see two main questions. Let me address the first one. All right, so, you know, that's a very good question. A lot of us are guilty of the same. Consistency in writing content, in producing content, you know, is a job in and of itself. And when I say a job in and of itself, I mean that you cannot really hire somebody, whether on a part-time or full-time basis, to just produce content, and they will never not have work to do. It's a lot of work. It's a lot for us as entrepreneurs to do, and still innovate, and still create products, and still do our books, and still do the marketing, and be the head cook, head chef and bottle washer. It's just a lot, you know. So consistency is one of the things that we want to be very mindful of. And I want to start right there in my response here, Sean, that first and foremost, start with the production cadence that you can follow and keep up with to be consistent. If you only can write 4 articles or write content or produce 4 pieces of content for the year, you know, produce 4 pieces of content for the year, and just be consistent at that, literally. And I mean, 4 pieces of content is not enough. But I say that to say that start with what you can be. If you can't be consistent at it, it don't make any sense at all. Yes, you run a campaign today, but if you don't run, if your customer base is not seeing some consistency or feeling your presence, they're gonna forget about you. And when you run a campaign again, then oh, I remember these persons, you know, but no, you don't want them to be rediscovering every single time you send a campaign. What you want to do is have growth. You want to have a trajectory that you want your customers, a path that you want your customers to take, right? Now, with that said, I'm doing the same thing right now, even for my own business. So what I've done is to actually create a club called the Get Paid Club. And what we're doing is writing content right now to engage persons around, you know, what they can expect of the club, what's involved, And of course, starting to share resources and information about the Get Paid Club. At the end of the day, the Get Paid Club is really about bringing entrepreneurs together who want to get online and get paid and don't understand it, you know. So it's demystifying, doing similar things like what we're doing here on this call, right? Just giving an example. And with that type of approach, what I seek to do is to tell a story, tell your brand story. You know, tell your brand story, tell your story in a way that demystifies your brand to your customer. So, you know, Sean, I know you're in the waste management space, and you know, just thinking off the top of my head, I don't know anything about that space. You know, and if I was interested in purchasing solutions or solving a problem within that space, then you know, email marketing and blogging or any video content about that would definitely support that very well. But we have to be very consistent about that email marketing. So as I said to you, you have to know what your customers are into, what they're like. Are they busy executives? If they are, then you definitely don't want to be sending them an email for more than a week. You mentioned about your mailing list being dormant and you know, supporting unsubscribes if persons don't want to receive the content. Your marketing tool automatically has that feature in it. Every email you see at the bottom of that email that is received by each customer, you will see a clear call to action to say that, you know, if it is that you are no longer interested in receiving this content, then click on subscribe here. It's the duty of the marketing tool to provide an opt-out feature. It is a requirement. What's the name of that requirement again? It's coming out of Europe. To remember what the name of it. What has to do with ensuring that persons are opting into any campaign that they receive, and also providing a way for them to opt out of the campaign. So that automatically comes with it, right? What I'm going to say about this is that if it is that you have a list and you want to clean that list, what I'm going to do actually, and you can determine how you want to go about it, but what I'm going to do, that I normally use MailChimp, and I'm going to be switching over to MailPoet. I have a MailChimp list of about 6,000 persons. I'm going to be advertising my e-commerce club and say, hey, you want to get into this thing and sign up here, and have those signups come into MailPoet. So from there, I'm going to set up my automation on MailPoet to re-engage those persons who sign up and enter the club. So I'll have my email marketing list on MailChimp, my general email marketing list, which we're going to want to refine and weed out some of the old contacts and so forth. At the end of the day, the easiest way to clean that list is to get persons from that list to sign up into a new one and then continuously engage those individuals. So that's the way to go about it. But at the end of the day, guys, consistency around our engagement is very, 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 very important. GDRP, yes. Hey, Andrea, definitely ball, you know. Tell them, don't ramp with you, you know. Andrea is on the ball. GDRP compliance, right? And she dropped a link in there, so you can click on it. GDPR compliance, guys, has become an international standard around how we engage customers' information from a privacy perspective. How customer information is used for marketing purposes, and just governs the key necessities around that. So GDPR compliance is something that all marketing systems have to bear. Even in our SMS platform here in Jamaica, we have to have an opt-out feature. I mean, it's not something that is heavily regulated or even promoted out here, but it is a feature that has to be available. So if a customer, somebody reaches us and say, hey, I do not want to be a part of these marketing campaigns that are being sent to me, they can actually have a way to get themselves out. All right. So that's there. So you guys can click on the link, look it up, something to be aware of, guys. And as we get more and more into, you know, marketing automation and you know, using data to engage with customers, compliance around how that is handled is very, 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 very important. So Sean, for your question number one about how you engage, I'll say tell a story. Tell the story that you need your customers to hear for them to understand your products and understand it enough for them to make a sale. Structure your campaign in a way where everybody goes through the same process. So if you are saying, Join my mailing list for the free puppet show. Join my mailing list for some back to school activities. Join my mailing list for the birthday club for kids. It should all be the same mailing list. What you're doing is you're using different occasions, you're using different tactics to promote it, but you're bringing persons through the exact same process every single time somebody new engages with you. You can have multiple mailing lists for different market segments, which can become quite complicated, but you can do it. Beautiful thing about these automation tools, they can set up, let's say for instance, you have two segments, Sean. You have your corporate people and you have your, let's say, residential people for argument's sake, right? You can have two different mailing lists, one for your corporate, one for your residential, and then you can have a master. You can set up instructions to say that when somebody joins this mailing list, automatically, when they join the commercial mailing list, automatically add them to the master list. When they join the residential list, automatically add them to the master list. So you can continuously drive persons to those two market segments while still building your master list. So whenever you need to send out a campaign to everybody, you still have that one instead of having to send two campaigns or send it to multiple lists at the same time. You get me? So there are different ways to manage this, manage how you interact with customers. At the end of the day, it's always good to be able to match needs specific, match solution specific to customers' needs. So if you know you're going after market segments where you have a particular solution to fulfill a particular need, that's a perfect world. But that world requires a lot of investment in creating content. You know, move from supporting one list to supporting multiple lists. So that's when you scale, right? But keep in mind, guys, that you can hire part-time resources to tackle these things. You can get them on Fiverr, you can get them on Upwork, you can get them in your community. Right now I'm using a journalist to produce my content, who is doing it as a side gig. That person was actually, I started to engage with that person when that person was a student at university. This is another way to engage again. You can engage students a lot for producing content. You get them at very reasonable prices. And a lot of times, they just need some guidance as to what you want and how you want it. But in terms of producing the content, a lot of times you have the skill set and basic understanding as to how to do it, right? So something to consider. And as I said, when it comes to re-engaging your dormant persons in your list, or you have a list that you have not used for some time now, it's the same process, guys. Just tell the story that you want to tell them. So, if you want to get them into something new that you're doing, if you want to reintroduce your business, if things have changed, just re-engage them and then be consistent thereafter. Those who want to opt out will opt out. Those who want to stay will stay. Those who find the content valuable will engage with the content. All right, Sean, I hope that was helpful for you.
Yes, Leighton, it was. Thank you.
So listen here, guys, call to action.
Listen, I just wanted to jump in really quickly because I have so hey Sham, how are you? I actually created a video talking about lead nurturing yesterday and the process through it, right? And just really trying to simplify that process. And one of the tools we use a tool where we just kind of try to understand what people are searching for online and start creating answers to those things using these videos. So I think this video might be super helpful. I'll drop it in the chat for you. It literally talks about the process of lead nurturing and what that should look like and how to simplify it. So take a look. If it's helpful, let me know if you have any questions about it. But this is a question people are asking all the time. What are the things we should do? And sometimes it's really just you develop maybe 3 or 4 emails and a landing page. And then you think about the call to actions that you want in that space, because how does that move them down to your place of becoming a customer? So it's really, if you think it through in the steps, then you say, hey, this email tells them to do this. If they take this action, then that means they're more interested. And each time you're qualifying and continuing to nurture that person down the path and asking them for a little bit of information, but then giving them some more information. And it might just be a series of 6 emails with 1 landing page that they drop on. So check out the video. If it's helpful, let me know. Thanks a lot.
Yeah, man, thanks for that, Tamara. You and I are speaking the exact same language, yes? So guys, check out that resource. I'm sure you will find some tidbits in there. And next thing as well to consider, guys, is that when you have a mailing list, when you send out an email blast to your customer base, chances are maybe only 30% may read it the first time. You can actually, most email marketing tools have the ability to resend same campaign to those who have not read it. So the person who read it the first time don't receive it, so they don't end up being spammed. To get where I'm coming from, you know? So that's another feature as well that can be leveraged. As an email marketing is very powerful. Don't sleep on it. It's one of those low hanging fruits that you can use today without any advertising budget. Once you have a list or access to a list to generate leads for your business. Tamara, is your hand still up or was that it? Let's see, your hand is still up. All right, so Tamara shared the resource in the chat. Okay, thanks Tamara for taking your hand off. And also I want to get back to the call to action. So call to actions, guys, short now. You have seen me show this website revenue more than once through this course. And I want to highlight this so much. Like a lot of times we build websites for customers, or we look at what they had before, and when you look at their website, there's no call to action. There's information. No, me as a customer, I come to a website to buy something. You know what my first priority is? Finding that thing that I came to buy. I want to find that thing as quickly as is possible. So I want to know where to go and shop. I need to know where to go and buy it. When we're setting up e-commerce websites, we like to have clear call to actions on it. So shop now button is very important. And even for instance, in this particular example, further if you scroll down below, it actually shows the different product categories that you can look at. So in essence, want to give persons quick access to the information that they came here for, and we want to show them a clear path for getting that information. Which is also why one of the reasons why I also like to add your contact information in prominent places. So whether it is at the bottom of the page or at the top of the page, we like for persons to be able to find what they're looking for or find the people that they need to connect with very quickly to be able to close a sale, right? So these things are very important, guys. Simple, but very important, makes a very big difference. This is my old business, mobile edge solutions. Again, we model the same thing for get paid, have a pricing button as well. Once people find us, the first question is how much. So I have pricing, and no matter where on the website you are, it could be on your mobile, it could be on a desktop, it could be in the blog, it could be on why choose us. You're going to see this pricing button following you all around. So this helps oftentimes to increase the rate at which persons fill out this information. And of course, having your clear call to action, get a free consultation. We came here to get a system. We are saying that for us to give you a system, we need to give you a consultation. So get that free consultation, right? And again, you see the contact us options here. So these are some key call to actions and lead magnets, some tactics that you can use to get persons into your mailing list, right? So that quickly quickly talks about marketing automation. And we're not going to spend too long on the automation pieces at this point in time. When we get into the tracks, then we will speak to those who are at that stage in more depth on those elements. But I just wanted to introduce some of these things now so that we know what the next steps are naturally for us in our business as we're going through. All right. Next area is centralization of operations. Now, I can't tell you how many times, guys, and how many persons out there are guilty of this right now, where you have a website, you have an offline business, and it's almost like you're running two different businesses. Actually, it's not almost like you are running two different businesses because they are not speaking to each other. So, you find that you walk into a hardware store has this on their website, but you don't have it on stock in the store, on the store. Or maybe it's that they show something on the website in stock. They show something that is you go into the store, but you can't find it on the website, right? So sometimes people end up managing two different inventories, two different set of systems, and sometimes it can be very difficult. So for a big business, we always encourage that once you're getting in the business of selling your products and services online, you want to get to some point of centralization where you can see everything that is happening end to end in all areas of the business. Having a case where your product is sold and then have to go back to the customer says, sorry, the product is actually out of stock. It's a terrible user experience. It's a terrible experience. After I've spent my money, I don't even want my money back. Yes, if you're not giving me a product, I want my money back, but getting my money back is not sufficient at that point in time. I've already committed to the sale. I have already thought that I solved the problem that I had before by making this purchase. Now you're putting me back to square one. It's a very unpleasant experience, right? And to prevent that, the easiest way to go about this is to centralize operations. So with automation, you can centralize your operations so that you can manage all systems, networks, and data centers from a single system or a few centralized systems. Often you can run many of your systems unattended and consolidate your staff, your operation and staff in a single location. So this is where now you can actually move from, and let's start big business here because we're all not going to stay small forever. But this is where you can move from, you know, having multiple stores out there with our website to actually having a warehouse and maybe one corporate office. What does this mean? Instead of having multiple persons out there manning different customer interfaces, so your store is a customer interface, your website is a customer interface, you can actually have all of that information centralized into one system, have a leaner staff, and also a leaner operational setup, right? In my business, we thrive of existing very lean, you know, and for me, I can work anywhere in the world, like literally anywhere in the world. When COVID came, it did not impact our operations because we were already operating in that manner where majority of our meetings were online, all of our systems were online. The only thing that we did not have properly set up at the time was a CRM system to monitor how sales team was performing and so forth. But all other systems were online, and because of this, we were not, actually, I will tell you the truth that I was overworked in COVID when most persons were trying to figure out their next move or taking the time to just kind of recoup, recalibrate. I was in the fire, like literally, because again, you know, there was a significant, you know, interest in what it is that we had to offer, and also because we were able to just to continue doing business, you know, we pushed and pushed, and you know, we managed to survive it based on the fact that we were partially ready. I won't say anybody was fully ready for anything like that because it was so sudden, but we were operating in a manner that allowed us to be able to do this, right? Okay, so that's the time we're having someone comments in the chat. Sounds like the same here towards the same video. Yes, but I say this to say that again, guys, that centralizing operations offers you a lot of luxuries. I again have team members who are based out of Canada. I've had team members based out of Philippines working with me, you know, in doing sales operations, and all of this was made possible through centralized systems. A centralized system, I mean, it also has to be, you know, cloud-based systems that are available by the web. So whether a team member is working from home, a team member is working in office, the access remains the same, the experience remains the same, and we're operating in one consistent way, right? So centralizing your operations is very important. One way of centralizing these operations, you know, I'll just give a quick example, like a QuickBooks. You know, a lot of us use QuickBooks for business to keep our accounts. If we have an online store, then we want to find a way to integrate QuickBooks with your e-commerce store to ensure that, again, you're looking at one system. For those of us who are looking to scale, we're thinking about any, and I guess this model called scaling with operations, right? Scaling with automation, because it is really at the point of scaling that automation becomes a necessity. It sometimes feels like a luxury when a business is small, because we can manage to do some things manually. But once you're talking about hundreds or thousands of customers, there's no way that we, with our small set of resources, can support that many clients without incurring significant overheads. Instead of incurring this significant overhead to add more team members, add more locations, add more systems and processes. What would we centralize the operations? All right, let me see if there's a question here before we get, okay, there's some comments. All right, good. Yeah, man, keep the chat going, guys. Relax the chat active, right? So some benefits here of centralization includes, being cost efficient. So I say instead of being all over the place, all of this comes with a cost, whether it is they need to move people, whether they need to put people somewhere, all of these things come with a cost. Buildings, office layers, check, AC units, all these things come at cost. Better command, you have a better handle on your operation because you can see things from one central point, right? Enhances the quality of work. Again, you're able to work at a much better rate, with more information, as opposed to when things are disjointed and somebody has to pick up the phone and call over to verify this and verify that, and then sometimes the verification is incorrect because maybe somebody saw a 1 and it was actually a 7, and when they gave that information, it threw up the SKU number. You understand? These are things again that can happen, and I'm just spitting out random things here based on some of the things I know can happen, right? Uniformity in action is very important, guys. You want to have your customers experience your brand in the same way. I hate it when I am dealing with a brand that has multiple locations and I go to one location, it's different from when I go to the next location. If I walk into a party shop, I expect to get a beef patty hot, no matter where it is, right? Same concept. Focus on vision again, because you're centralizing operation, you can centralize your training, you can centralize your focus. So for instance, right now, I'll give an example. I have a morning meeting every single morning from Monday to Friday with my team, 15 minutes. Focuses on what needs to be done for the day, what's coming up tomorrow, any fires out, things like that. It brings persons together on our Google Meet call, and we focus on the vision for the day. Very simple, very clean, very effective. After that, I leave them alone. They work through it, then I check in again next morning as to where we are, maybe at the end of the day. You understand? But you're able to focus and be just a lot more purposeful in how you are executing. Again, as it says, proper coordination. So again, instead of people being here, I'm scared about how you execute, you're able to plan better, organize better, execute better. So overall, you're seeing where there's a cost benefit, there's a time benefit, there's a productivity benefit, and there's a customer experience benefit from centralizing operations. All right, let's see if there's any other question in the chat. All right, if your application has a login feature, would you automatically add those users to the mailing list? Is that ethical? All right, great question. Great question. Shows me that you guys are thinking about the content as we're going through it. Yes, I would add everybody who signs up to my mailing list. So if I have a login feature where someone has to sign up first, once they sign up, boom, you're in my mailing list. I have my mailing opt-in list feature, boom, once you sign up, you're in my mailing list. I have my e-commerce sales system. Once you complete a purchase, boom, you're in my mailing list, right? Any activity that you take on my website with your email, you are going to end up in my mailing list. And what I'm going to do is that before you submit, every single time I'm going to have the terms and conditions being presented to you with that little checkbox that says, yes, I agree to these terms and conditions. And in these terms and conditions, I am going to state explicitly that by signing, by taking this action, you are giving us permission to share information with you about our products and services, not to share your information, but to share information with you based on this. So it is not unethical when you put these things in the body of your email, right? Make it be very clear. I will say GDPR compliance is to be observed, and as part of that, we have to put in these terms and conditions into the body of our sign up tools, right? So no matter where the customer sign up, no matter where the customer purchased, then we can get person into that mailing list. So that's a good question, right? We want to get them in from all angles, and That's the approach at the end of the day. We want to be multi-channel and want to get persons in from every possible angle. All right, key processes that need to be automated when you're looking at, centralizing again operations. So accounting, these are some key processes that easy, again, not easy, but low-hanging fruits are operations that are popular amongst any business that we can automate. So accounting, from an accounting perspective, you want to be able to log your sales automatically. We don't want to write them in a big book no more. We don't want to write them on a piece of paper. We don't necessarily want to put them in an Excel document unless you must. It will be easier for us to put them in a system. And there are many free systems out there, guys. So let us move away from the pen and paper and Excel documenting. You don't want to be able to put the information in something where you can run some reports even a year from now. How much money did I make in March 2023? What products did I sell? Which customers did I service? How many customers have I serviced over the last 2 years? Are things that your sales system can give you when you log your sales information into an accounting software. Of course, you have the expense elements as well. You can log how much did it cost me to run my business in March 2023. How much did I spend in expenses for the entire year of 2022? Information that you can get out of that. So let's look at doing these types of things that we can automatically pull these reports. Of course, your e-commerce system automatically logs all sales and provides reports. So that's one of the benefits again of your e-commerce platform being a part of your sales process. And inventory management, as I mentioned to you, you don't want to find yourself selling a product you don't have. So even, for instance, the Get Paid engine tool that I made reference to, where the product manager is concerned, when you're setting up the products, you're able to actually add an inventory count of how many of these products you have. Even if you have multiple SKUs, so if you're selling a shirt and you have 10 black, 5 blue, 3 yellow, and you can put that in, and when all of the SKUs or products are sold, it will label that product as out of stock. You can even, for instance, set up the system in a way where it gives you a low stock alert, both on the front end and on the back end of the website, to keep you and the customer up to date that, hey, stock in this area is low. So it tells the customer, gives the customer a sense of buying urgency because it is running out, and it also tells you, the administrator, that, hey, I need to restock. So there are inventory reports that can be generated from your e-commerce system that tell you about the stock levels and what's going on with your inventory. As I mentioned as well, being able to synchronize your online and your offline sales system can help you to better manage how your inventory is sold across different channels, right? Customer management is very important as well. All right, so we're in the consulting or the service-based industry. Customer management becomes extremely important in that space. Why? Because we want to know who our customers are. What did they buy? How can we upgrade them? How can we resell to them? How can we engage them in a meaningful way? Customer management is very important when you're looking at hardcore sales. All right, I'm making 5 cold calls per day, and I'm doing that 5 days per week. And let's not use 5 because 5 is a very low number. Let's say we're doing 20 calls per day, 5 days per week. That's 100 calls per week. If we're doing that 4 weeks for the month, that's 400 calls per month. And if, let's say, for instance, we started in January, would have gone at least 1,200 calls by the end of March. Now I am in April and I need to make April's targets. How do I look at all the persons who I have sent quotations to or had calls with and find out who is most likely to buy today? Because as you say, we engage with 1,200 persons, 1,200 persons bought. It means that we introduce a product to 1,200 persons, we introduce an opportunity to 1,200 persons. How do we know who is the hot lead, who is the cold lead? How do we know who to share more information with and who to not contact anymore? You need a customer management system. Who do we know is on which package? So, all right, we using not only to manage leads, but also manage sales. All right, so how do we know which package or which product a customer took so that we can know? All right, based on this, and the customer is going to need this solution in 6 months' time. How are we position ourselves for the future sale? How are we also managing our customers who come through our websites? We have to integrate them with CRM systems, right? So I'm gonna show, okay, so we have a CRM system here. So I'm gonna show you that a little bit, right? And then you have customer service management, where persons need to get answers to frequently asked questions. So having things like your FAQs that are regularly updated on your website is an automated way of providing service support to your customers. And you notice that many technology service providers, so once you are using MailChimp, or you're using Zoho CRM, or you're using any popular tool out there, there will be a frequently asked questions area, or what we call a knowledge base area, that you can go and look for answers to questions. So you don't know, so you don't remember how to send a campaign. If you walk you through the steps of how to send a campaign, these are ways that automatically provide support to customers, like self-help. You know, it is a form of automation in its simplest, a more primitive form, but it gives the customer access to information when they need it, right? So FAQs are very powerful, don't sleep on them. And then you have things like, you know, your chat bots or live chat systems, or even, for instance, you know, things like your WhatsApp chat support. You can integrate them on the front end of your website and automate some of your customer service processes. So, for example, if you use the example of live chat and live and bots. Right now, here in Jamaica, Digital does this very well with their live chat system. Right now, it is painful to try to call the call center to get support or service from them. But they make it so easy to get the support through the live chat. You go into their app. Once you open the app automatically engages you with the bot. It introduces itself. It gives you some options. Are you here to deal with internet, phone service, or, you know, what is it that you're here to do? And it gives you some options, and it brings you through about 3 or 4 questions and give you automatic responses. And based on those selections, it chooses an agent for you and then assigns the call to that agent, and then the live chat kicks in. So bots and chats are being used right now in a very innovative way to provide some initial information, basic information, standard information to the customer, and even seek to solve some of their problems automatically before engaging with an agent. It's only when they need to go beyond the scope of what the bot can do, then they bring in the agent in the live chat to support it. So this is another way of automating a process. Now you can integrate all of these things in your CRM system to say that, all right, I want to keep a log of every single time a customer contacts us. So, you know, every single time when somebody calls you on the phone, your receptionist is logging into the system that John Brown called from XYZ Manufacturing, and he had an issue with the power saw that he bought last month for a project, right? And you log that into the system. That agent is that receptionist is sick today, and maybe an administrative person is sitting tomorrow, and the same person call back saying, hey, you know, I'm still having an issue with this thing. Then they can pull up the person's account and automatically see everything that is happening in there. And this is why, you know, customer relationship management systems are very, 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 very important to the process, right? And CRM systems, you know, are becoming more and more popular these days as people seek to enhance the way how they engage with their customers. You know, these days it is unacceptable. It's becoming unacceptable for poor customer service to be the norm. It is now expected that persons should provide high quality service when they're selling their products, you know. So for this reason, having CRM systems, customer relationship management systems, are important to the process. So what is customer relationship management? Customer relationship management is the process in which a business organization administers its interaction with customers, typically using data analysis to study large amounts of information. In this process, CRM systems are normally used for managing all the company's relationships and interactions with customers and potential customers. The goal of a CRM is simple: improve business relationships by helping companies to stay connected to customers, streamline processes, and improve profitability, right? So these are some things to think about when setting up your CRM systems. And I will tell you that, guys, CRM systems can become quite complex. Not all CRM systems are made equal. Some are just very out the box and simple for the purpose of keeping it simple. And then you have some that you can customize to do every and anything you can dream of, right? The choice for your CRM system, how you integrate your CRM system, comes back down to the processes that you need to support that ensure that the customer's experience and relationship with your brand is maximized, right? So these are some key things to think about that you need to know about your business when setting up a CRM system. First and foremost, who are your customers? Are they B2B? Are they business customers? Are they consumer customers? Are they high-end customers? Are they low-end customers? Are they customers who are likely to be patient based on the nature of the service that you provide? Do they need instant service? You understand? These are things that you must ask yourself when thinking about setting up a CRM system. Now you want to know how long have they also been a customer. You know, when you're thinking of that CRM system, one of the key things you want to look at is what are the key outputs that I want from the system. A CRM system is only as valuable to me as the reports that they generate. If it is not able to generate the reports that I need, then it fails me personally, because as a manager who is strapped for time, I just want to be able to pull up a system that tells me how many new customers I got this week, how much money did I make this week. All right, we did not make enough money. All right, is the team working? So did they send out enough quotations, proposals? How many of those were sent out? This information needs to be provided at a snapshot. So you need to know, sorry, what information is important to extract from your CRM system before you even start setting. All right, so here's a question. As a company that sells animal products, how do we set up our e-commerce site not to disrespect animal activists who may visit our site? That's a good question. So let me repeat that. So the company that sells animal product. So tell me, how does your product offend? And you can unmute Jasmine, please, if you wanna. How does your product offend an activist? Does your product harm the animal? Does it provide discomfort to the animal? You know, what are the things that would make an activist have an issue with your product? Is a question that I would ask myself, right? And then what I would seek to do is demystify this on the same website. So for instance, if you've seen videos with animals being included, and then you set a disclaimer that none of these animals were hurt or displaced in the production of this video, something like that. You could put up these disclaimers on your site to manage this issue. At the end of the day, guys, your website is a communication tool first and foremost. Yes, it's a piece of technology, but it communicates, and it lands all of your customers, your enemies, your everybody. And so you can use your website and your social media pages as a communication point to manage these types of discrepancies or these expectations or these issues that may arise, right? So you can have the disclaimers on your website. You can even showcase how your product is being used on your website, so that if somebody is an activist, they would not make incorrect assumptions about your product and go out there and blast you about it. So it's all about providing information through the interface and allowing persons to be able to get quick access to it and have it prominently placed. So persons know it's something that you're serious about. So if you are serious about not upsetting the animal activists out there, then that needs to be front and center, especially if it is that they're easy to get upset. As I said, bad news spreads quicker than good news. I mean, not all bad news is bad publicity. Sometimes these people making a little fuss about us can bring some positive attention, but we don't want to necessarily have a negative association with our brand or product, regardless, right? So some that we have to manage, but communication can be used to support it. No problem, Jasmine. All right, so going back to the questions that we have to ask ourselves. So what do we want to know from our CRM system? We want to know who our customers are. We want to know how long have they been a customer. Remember, we talked about lifetime value of a customer, guys. When you look at your sales process and your business and your customers from a lifetime value perspective, it changes the way how you see them. If you expect each customer to stay with you for 5 years, you want to know what the average length of your customers stay is, right? You want to know what products they have bought, so that you can find similar customers like them and sell them the same product. Or maybe it is that you have a natural roadmap for your customers' purchasing patterns that you may want to bring a customer on. So, for example, when we're in our bank, you sign up for a savings account, the first thing you want to sell is a credit card. Automatically, how would the rep know to sell you a credit card? Remember that not everybody who walks into a bank has an account. And I could walk into a bank, an NCB here in Jamaica, simply because I have an NCB check to cash. I don't have to have an account. Agent, the teller pulls up my name and the system says, oh, I don't have an account. Then she can offer me a savings account and have a rep call me thereafter. Or maybe I already have a savings account and I'm coming to lodge some money. She can pull up my information, see that, all right, I am a savings account holder, but I don't have any credit cards as yet. So are you interested in a credit card, sir? I'll have somebody call you later. These are the reasons why you want to have access to this type of information, so that you can make better decisions as to how you upgrade, upsell, and just interact with your customers overall. It's not only from a sales perspective, but also from a support perspective. I heard me use the example earlier about the customer who bought a chainsaw and the person who was in yesterday is not in today. How do we mind that expectation, right? Then what sales opportunities exist within your customer base? Same concept. So we know that, all right, these are our customers, these are products that they've bought, have this target to meet this month. How do we engage with our existing customers to unlock the sales target? Guys, we have a bad habit of trying to look new customers every time we want to meet a target, when oftentimes the answers are within our existing customer base. So we need to become more aware of what is happening within our business by using CRM systems to help us make those decisions, because it is much harder to get sale from a new customer, someone who does not know us, versus somebody who has already purchased from us. Sometimes just offering a discount, offering a sale opportunity, doing a BOGO special automatically brings persons back in. But don't want to be discounting every single time we sell. Just giving an example of how it is that we can leverage an existing customer base to generate more sales, right? Then how do I manage my customer interaction to provide good support? Again, providing the same example earlier that was used around providing support to that customer. So you want to use a CRM system for these reasons, guys. And once you start scaling, remember this model is called scaling with automation. Once you look at scaling, doing more business, then these are things that you have to consider, because no longer can your small operation manage. And no longer are you managing 10 to 20 to 50 customers, but now you're handling hundreds or thousands of customers. You need some type of system, some type of process around how you manage these customer relationships, right? Now, this is an example of CRM systems that can be used. And I'm gonna pull up a live example here just to show you firsthand what I'm talking about. And this helps me a lot in my daily pursuits on my end. So I'm just going to quickly show you an example. So this solution is called Bitrix24. I use Bitrix24 because Bitrix24 gives me the most for free. I think they gave me up to, I don't remember if it's 5 users or 10 users for free. Every other CRM charges maybe after 1 user, right? At base, right? CRM system includes a lot of different features. It is by far the most comprehensive CRM system for free. I know Salesforce is a very good, powerful platform, but can be also expensive and complicated. This solution allows you to manage customers, it allows you to manage projects, it allows you to even manage things like your staff with HR features. It can do things like clocking in, so that you can manage people's times. Imagine you have a system or rather a business that has persons working remotely. How do you monitor how much time you're spending doing the task? There are internal chat features, many nice features that come with Bitrix. I'm not necessarily trying to sell a Bitrix here today, guys. I'm telling you about this great resource that I've come into, and I see a lot more Caribbean persons uptaking as well where this is concerned. Now, I just want to quickly go through the dashboard. The dashboard is what I want to show. Here as Get Paid, we're within the iCreate group. So you will notice that there's an iCreate logo here, and this is an example of what our Bitrix system looks like. So right away, we're able to see where we are with targets, right? So right away, I am able to look at January, or my company Get Paid. Where are we to target? You can say, all right, we have this amount in target, 3.8 million. We completed X amount in sale. This is the amount that is remaining, what percentage on target. We can look at February, what it looked like. All right, so we exceeded target by a little bit, and we can see what those amounts are, what the amount is remaining. I can track all of it. So when I have my weekly meetings with my management team to see what is going on, this is all we look at. We only go into the Kanban. I'm going to again show an example of what that looks like. CRM. Once I click on CRM, and I can come here and click on deals. Deals. And right away, I can look at my sales pipeline from a Kanban view, where I can see, all right, who are my inbound leads, who are my outbound leads, who are my old customers who I need to move on to the new platform, who are qualified leads, who are at the proposal stage, who have I sent to a quotation, who have I sent a quotation, and if the person accepts it, then we move them over to the deal one phase. If somebody does not accept, then we move them to the deal last stage. And we know where every single customer is. I can click on a customer and bring up their account, and it shows me every single interaction there in the account. So if a call was made, if a proposal was sent, all of these things come up, and this is a very powerful as a tool here, guys, that you can play around with. So Bitrix 24 is the name of that solution. Just quickly wanted to show you an example of that. These are some screenshots, but I just wanted to give you a quick walkthrough as to what that looks like. I see. All right, so Sean says the CRM I use is HubSpot, but currently exploring others that may better suit my needs. One of the things with CRMs that you want is integratability. You want easy integration. So for instance, you want to be able to come up with a campaign tomorrow, set up a form for persons to fill out if they're interested in learning more, set up a pop-up. Beautiful thing about this is that when somebody fills out a form, automatically they get populated into my inbound lead section, right? So right away, my sales rep just monitors Bitrix daily, goes in, look at how many persons are filled out inbound lead section and call those persons. You understand? So this is an example of these. You want to ensure that your integration with your different elements of your business is catered to. But CRM systems, guys, is the way to go where managing multiple systems are concerned. As I say here, we can integrate solutions like this with your WordPress website, with your Shopify website, with your Wix website, and it will pull in the customer information here, and you can manage the card. These are things again that you must consider when you look at scaling your solution technology. Similarly, as well as I mentioned, project and task management. So no Sean, you may have different projects that you work on. We here at Get Paid, we have it a lot as well. For anybody who provides services, you want to know where people are in the projects. How long is a project supposed to take? How far along is this particular project in the pipeline? Is it completed? Is it almost completed? What are different milestones that the project must go through? You move them through the milestones and management accordingly. Good project management is key to service-based businesses who sell projects. So you have to be on top of it. Here's another comment from April. Hold on. Oh, wow, there are a lot of questions that just came in a while ago. So let's take it from the top. So we heard Sean talk about HubSpot. HubSpot is another good tool I think they're one of the market leaders in marketing, software, and automation. I just chose Bridges again because I felt like it gave me the most value for free. Right? All right, here's a question from April. Any tips on WhatsApp business messaging? Unfortunately, not all of my customers have the number saved, even though many interact with the content and gives feedback. Therefore, it's difficult to send broadcast messages. I have also found that persons use it as an opportunity to engage, give further feedback, share content, chat. I also get more store reviews. I've gotten most contacts during pop-ups. So I'm usually the one to have their contact first. Okay, okay. All right, so WhatsApp for Business is a great tool for communication. What I like about it personally, I've been using WhatsApp for Business for quite some time now because I always had two phones, right? So I always had my personal number separate from my WhatsApp, from my business number. And I found that WhatsApp for Business was able to better manage my customers' expectations. So for instance, on WhatsApp for Business, unfortunately, you can put up your opening hours, you can put up an autoresponder if you want to put up an autoresponder. And what I'm finding now as well is that WhatsApp for Business is now being integrated into a lot of the campaign managers. So you can run an ad to your WhatsApp from Instagram. I think even now there's a possibility to run an ad from WhatsApp. WhatsApp, of course, is owned by Google and Facebook, right? Same company. So you're able to run campaigns that generate leads directly to your WhatsApp. So WhatsApp is a very great tool for it, and something that I encourage for persons to use, even if you sometimes putting a chat button on your website. I find that because with WhatsApp, you automatically expect delayed communication. It works well for small persons as opposed to live chat. Live chat, if you are not responding to that live chat within 10 seconds of the person sending that message, or even say 15, 20 seconds, you've lost that person. With WhatsApp, you can even wait up to a day. You can choose to respond to all the messages at one time a day. So if it's in the night, it's in the evening, you can set up a autoresponder and say, hey, thanks for reaching out. We will respond to you within 24 hours, right? But if it's, let's say you're running a bearer service, and you can set up your WhatsApp and say, all right, thanks for reaching out. We'll respond to you within 5 minutes. You understand? And you manage that expectation and that customer experience. It's up to you how you want to leverage that tool, but this is a very powerful tool. I want to recommend that person to engage in using. What I would say is that for broadcasting content, as you know, WhatsApp allows you to have like broadcast groups. So what I tend to do is that for every person who engage with me, I save their numbers, right? And in saving their numbers, then I automatically add them to different groups and send them messages as well. So that's something that works well for me. So I hope that answered your question, April. Right? So hold on. What is a CRM? Self-made. I'm not sure if I understand the self-made term.
Meaning if you made it.
Oh, no,
yes.
no.
I just wanted to know what was the name of it. It looks really good.
Okay, so this CRM is Bitrix 24. That's the name of it. It's been around for quite some time now. It's one of the solutions that give me and my technical team the most flexibility in how I integrate. So I'll give an example. I was able to set up what they call a SIP trunk, a communication line on Bitrix that allow persons to call my clients. So I had a team from Philippines, like about 3 or 4 sales reps who were interested in working for us to do telesales. I set up their accounts in Bitrix. I set up the calling line in Bitrix. They were able to cold call all their leads because they already had a set of leads and that they had access to. So they were able to cold call their leads. System was able to automatically record every single call that was made. So I was able to see all the activity of every single agent in the system, you know, at a glance. So it's a very cool tool that gives you a lot out the box for free. A lot out the box for free. That's why I use called Bitrix24. I'm just gonna type it in chat here, Bitrix24, look it up. I'm sure you can sign up right now and get an account for free. All right. Asana is also another great one as well, especially for projects I've heard about. But this one does both. So as you can see here, we have task and projects and we have CRM. I said have even HR functionalities, product management, you know, company details, a lot of cool features that we can use to do that. All right. So April said that I've been looking into getting on one of those cards where you can tap the person's phone and your contact shows up on theirs automatically. Therefore, make it easy to send messages. Yes, there are these technologies, whether it is a card or a scanning device or, you know, quick sharing devices, how to share information across different phones, different platforms, that enable you to do this. One of the things that I've done before was like a scanner, card scanner. So I need to be, at the times you go, people want to give you their business card. I have no business holding on to business cards, but I need the business card information. And then you have these scanners on your phone, you can use to scan the information out into your phone. So there are many of these apps out there that you can leverage to do these types of things. You see that right now, I forward 5 messages at a time. It's very time consuming, but the more I send, the more engagement. What you can do is to create broadcast groups. That's what I've done. I remember at a point I had up to 3 to 4 broadcast groups. The broadcast group limit is 200 persons, but you know, if you have 2, 3 of those groups, then you're talking about, you know, 400 to 600 persons, and you send 1 broadcast per group every single time. It's very engaging. Persons high response rate. I say as well, the status works very well as well. But I did that because my thinking was that, hey, I'm talking to so many people about e-commerce. Why not use this as a channel? Because based on who is in my phone, a lot of these persons are business persons. So I literally just added everybody except maybe parents and family to the different broadcast groups and started to share information. And the more information I sent out, the more people came back engaged. It's like almost like a direct chat line, you know, sharing information is very powerful in getting leads back here. So I recommend that you looking at setting up your broadcast groups. I said 200 at a time as opposed to 5. That's a very big difference. That's like 40 times, right? Am I right? Yes, that's like 40 times more efficient than the 5, right? All right, so we talked about Asana already, which is 24. Oh, see, Anja posting, hi, hello, me with digital business cards. So that's another solution that you can use there. April, I see you have your hand up there. Go ahead.
Yes. So hi everyone. So what I was saying is that so I meet most of the clients, many of my customers via pop-up shops. Now they would write their information and then I would save their contact and then send them a message. But they don't always save the WhatsApp messages. Well, only now after I send them the greeting, I try to encourage them to save it. However, previously I would have had a lot of contacts and not many of them have it saved, even though they interact. So I can't really broadcast messages because they don't get it.
Well, what else? So you already identified the issue on your end that we need to get them to save the message. So what I would say, save the number. So what I would say to you is that in your initial email to them, tell them to save the number in order to receive information on discounts, very similar to how we would treat a pop-up on our website, right? To get person into the mail list. So the same way how the pop-up comes up and says, hi, enter, get 20% off, get 20% off, enter your email address here. You could do the same thing and hey, get the first 10% off, save our phone number in your phone book so that you can receive offers and so forth. And you could use that type of approach. At the end of the day, the reality is that we have to work with the restrictions and constraints of these platforms. We can't change them. What we can do is optimize the way how we leverage them to get the result that we want. Make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. All right,
Thank
guys.
you.
Yeah, man, no problem. All right, so that's CRM. Am I still in the slide? Okay. Oh, I am actually on the last slide. That's why I'm not moving any further. All right, cool. So this pretty much wraps up automation, guys. I say it's just really briefly touching on the key areas that we can automate. All of these can become extremely in-depth topics, but it doesn't make any sense to go too deep into this for everybody. We would prefer to talk to the persons who need this on that level when we get there, right? But that pretty much is a quick overview as to how you can use automation to scale. At the end of the day, guys, one of the key things about e-commerce is its scalability. You want to maximize your ability to scale, leveraging the platform, but scalability does not start at the beginning. You scale after you have set up your business, you start to promote, and you want to now get more out of it, whether it is you want to get more money, more customers, more efficiency, things like that. Any questions before we hand over to Gilbert?
Had a great session, Leighton. I think there are a few housekeeping things that we didn't cover in this session that we did in the last one when we were working with the DSOs. They were brought up briefly. I look at the risk factor in some of the solutions that you were talking about, and we have to consider those. You mentioned GDPR, but also I noticed that because of GDPR, a lot of the email solutions that we're now working with will bring up warnings as to when you can send these emails. Like even now, if I try to create an email in Outlook and send it out after 5 p.m., it will tell me that it's after 5 p.m. and most people are no longer working because it's trying to comply with the different laws. So same question that I asked in last session, what are the risk factors that you see in some of the solutions that you would have discussed here today?
That's a good question. So one of the things that we know is the big challenge for email marketing is being labeled as spam. It's very often that we'll send out email campaigns and the open rate is very low, or the interaction points are very low. And this is because a lot of the content goes to spam. Before say 2020, 2019, thereabout, we get a lot of emails with a lot of images, links in there, very pretty emails, almost look like a website landing page on its own. And you'll notice that it's mainly the retail outlets that probably still keep that format because they want to use that as their product display to get persons to visit their websites and so forth. But service-based persons have been opting for more simpler email marketing templates where the email look almost like an email that was sent via Word, very text focused. As I mentioned, I'll sign up to that Grant Cardone thing, and the guys would kill me with emails, but it's very simple. Plus, text written emails with maybe one link in the body of the email. This is because they have realized that the email marketing tools are looking, or rather the email suppliers, so the Gmail, the Hotmail, the Yahoo, all these different email marketing service providers are finding ways to categorize and classify the emails that they receive so that their customers are seeing the most important emails that are sent to them. And in doing so, they look for things like a heavy use of images, heavy use of links in the bodies of the email. And once they see a lot of that, automatically you're classified as a promotional email. So you go over to the Gmail promotions, sending all these emails, but nobody is opening, right? Some of the times as well, it requires you to mark an email as safe or not spam, and for you to continue receiving those emails into your primary inbox. So these are things some of the time we have to tell the customers when they sign up. So for example, somebody joins the mailing list, your first automatic email, of course, is going to be that welcome email, but you may also need to tell the person, hey, go to your inbox and select this particular feature to ensure that we're showing up in your primary inbox if this is information that you value, you know. So sometimes it requires us to take an extra step or to go back to basics with our email templates to ensure that we're landing in the customer's inbox. At the end of the day, you know, we incur a cost per 1,000 for most platforms that we use monthly. And, you know, once you start going over, say, 5,000 emails, you may find your cost in and around $80 to $100 per month. You know, you don't want to be paying $80 to $100 per month sending emails that persons are not seeing. So, you know, it is best to optimize that experience as best as possible so that you have the highest possible impact on your emails, highest possible open rate, and engagement with the links and the email that you send. But that's one of the biggest drawbacks or risks to manage where running email campaigns is concerned, that I have noticed. Where CRM systems are concerned, I would say I've been guilty. I've used that very same Bitrix platform before when we were doing Mobile Edge and had to abandon it because I just did not understand how to implement it within my organization. Since we started to do this back with iCreate, we acquired a Bitrix expert who is able to help us to understand different features, how to get the information that we need out of it. And it has been a marked difference. So what I'll say as well is that when you're setting up CRM systems are as only the information you get out is only as good as the information you get in, that you put in. And oftentimes there's a way of putting the information in so that you can get all the reports that you need. And if you don't understand how to do that, then you may find yourself in a challenge. So in choosing CRM systems, try to choose one that you can get the support that you need on. Even if it's simply asking, hey, how do I do this? How do I do that? Choose CRM systems that put a lot of documentation as well. Too many times, because these types of solutions are very much self-help solutions. You know, it's not expected that you should need to be contacting support a lot just to use the system. So one of the things that I look for is this solution well documented? Do they have a knowledge base that tells me how to do this, how to do that? I'm up 12 o'clock in the night, I want to run a campaign tomorrow, and I don't want to wait until tomorrow morning to contact somebody or get help to fix that. I need to get this thing done now. Can I go on YouTube, find a video, a how-to video on how to do this? You know, are things I ask myself when I'm choosing solutions like this. So for me, documentation is very important because I need to be able to flex and operate independent of the solution provider and be able to do the thing that I need to do, you know. So those are some of two of the main things that I would say are very critical considerations when managing, you know, the risks around integrating solutions. That is because other times the risk, you know, guys, is not a matter of say hacking or things like that. Sometimes the risk of losing time, sometimes the risk of unproductivity. And that's kind of what to manage all of those things. You have somebody who needs to be muted. Is it April? Is it Jasmine? Oh, Jasmine. Yes. That's wrong. Yeah, man. So that I think answers the question there, Gilbert.
Yeah, wonderful. And I'm going to open this up to the rest of the cohort, right? I know for me, and just as Leighton explained, right? Where you get inundated with emails, there is an oversupply of content, I think, on the internet. So you're constantly getting emails, and as a business owner, right? So you are inundated with emails for customer service or for product information, just on a customer engagement level. Then you have training content. Tomorrow just shared a video there, and I clicked on it, and I know at some point in time I got to get through that hour and some because the content is valuable. So there is so much content that is being pushed to all of us. I try to stay engaged in so many different platforms, reading X amount of books a month, reading X amount of articles a day, and all that stuff. What are some ideas that either you have, and tomorrow I'm going to pick on you, ideas that you may have so that we can separate ourselves from that mass amount of content that is being driven? How do we direct what we are trying to convey to our customers, our potential customers, right? How do we engage them in a way that is different?
Sure.
Any ideas?
I love that question. So first, what we do is we start off by looking to understand what people are searching for online, right? So we're not creating content to just create content. We're not just coming up with the ideas just off the top of our brain. We're reverse engineering what people are searching for online in relation to digital marketing and starting to build content to answer those questions, right? So today was a prime example, right? We Sean asked a question, and the question was exactly what the content we created, because we knew that how many people search for that on a daily basis. So it kind of, we were able to create that content and say, here's this relevant content, because that's what it's about. It's about creating that relevant content, easing people in with bite-sized bits, but then getting people to engage with the long form content. If you have the right target audience, they will keep going down the funnel because you're either solving something for them, giving them a tip or trick, something that's going to keep them engaged. So while our content video is an hour long, we're looking at the analytics to see where people watching. We have chapters so we can send people to different areas. So relevant content is where we need to be. A lot of people are just creating content to create content. And then we take this show, we create an hour long bit of content, but this is now divided into bite-sized bits because now we have 7.7 questions that we can utilize. We can drip that over time. So one piece of content actually becomes about 20 to 25 pieces of content. And what we're doing is we're simply leaning into the conversation that our customers are having online and providing them with those answers and those solutions. So we talk about search engines all the time, but the move right now is to become the answer engine because people search through how to, where can I find? We go into search and we put in entire questions. So how do you become the answer to what your customer is searching for, and then take that and start becoming more visible in the right spaces. So hopefully that answers your question. I hope I didn't get too far.
Brilliant. And it's the strategy is not just a matter of answering the question. I asked specifically you because I know you wouldn't just answer the question, you would have a strategy behind you do what you do, right? And that's brilliant. So the fact that you breaking down this content into bite-sized pieces is brilliant. So there's a creativity behind creating the content.
100%, yeah. And everyone can go to this tool called Answer Socrates, right? If you go to that tool and you pop in anything that you want, right? So whatever your topic is, whatever your business is about, and what it'll do is it'll pull up all the questions that have been asked that day about that specific topic. And that's a really good place to understand what people are searching for and how you can start looking to create content around that, because it talks to the heart of exactly what your target audience is looking for. So you find yourself really only creating relevant content and not just making things up.
Excellent.
Tamara, I'm going to ask you to drop that link.
Oh, sure. Yeah, 100%. I'll do that now for sure.
I love what is coming out of Tamara's response, because what we need, guys, is methodology behind how we execute these marketing campaigns or content campaigns. You'd have heard Tamara talk about long form content. And what long form content is a sizable body of information about a particular topic that could come in the form of a YouTube video. It could come in the form of a 1,000-word blog post. It could come in the form of even an email marketing campaign, a very sizable body of email content, right? And at the end of the day, what I encourage persons to do is to take an approach where you anchor your content approach with this long form content. So you have this one block of content, and this block of content answers a particular question in many different ways. And then what you do is that you can take that block of content, whether it is an hour-long video, chop it up and just drop 30-second tidbits, 1-minute tidbits on Instagram, Facebook, even via email, even broadcasting via WhatsApp, telling persons, hey, we're answering this question, but we have answered 100 more over here. Check out this link for more. That's the idea behind it. And when you do that, it allows you to be far more organized in how you position your content to your customer, and also how they find value and identify value in the content. Why? Because I'm scrolling through Instagram. I may not have the time right now, or even this week, to digest a 1-hour video. Because I'm following you and you're constantly dropping tidbits, I'm learning, I'm engaging as I'm going along, and you're providing value. That's the other thing as well, guys. Keep in mind that you have to provide value to your customers when you're providing these types of content. So you want to know what is valuable to the customer. As you have heard Tamara mention a while ago, answer the frequently asked questions. What are the things that your customers need to know about your product, or even just your general area that you're operating? All right, Charlie's in waste management. She could talk about pollution in water, like how is waste polluting water overall? You know, water is life. Water is important to everybody in any country. And if we're seeing that there are particular actions being taken by persons in our country that's making our water quality less drinkable, then this is something that's going to be a concern to most persons. Just giving a quick example. You understand? Provide value, create that block of content that provides the value, break it up into bite sizes. It could be just a picture with an excerpt, a caption, an excerpt from your blog post. You post it back and you post. We break up that blog post into 20 different, that blog article into 20 different posts. And you've built out a content calendar. So sometimes we take going back to, I think Shan had mentioned the difficulty with being consistent. This can help you to solve that problem. You could easily create, again, when we talk about 4 pieces of content. Suppose, all right, you know what? I'm going to invest in 4 strong pieces of content. And this piece of content is going to have the person engaging for maybe half an hour to 1 hour, whether it is in the form of video, text, like an article. And then I'm going to take out, let's see, if we do 4 articles, that's 1 per quarter, right? And then there are 12 weeks per quarter. If I can find 12 bite-sized posts out of it, and I can post 1 thing per week on social, and that keeps them engaged. And that's how you build consistency, starting with very limited time and resources. You understand? So you've invested time into creating these 4 blocks of articles. And then now all you need to do is chip out 12 points of information that you want to share that drives persons back to the article. And voila, right there as a one-man shop, you have created 4 great pieces of blocks of content that provides value to your customers, and have managed to extract a content calendar for the entire year that drives consistent engagement with your prospective and existing customers over that period. Now, when you want to scale up and do more, of course, maybe you can hire somebody to start doing more articles or getting out more bite-sized information out of that to push an article. But this is a great way, guys, to build your content strategy.
Yeah, 100%. I just want to add to that. Don't be afraid to use the AI tools, especially to help outline your content. You don't have to use it to be the end result, but maybe use it as a starter to get to a 60% space, and then add your voice around that. So we've been using a tool called Jasper AI maybe for about 1.5 years. ChatGPT is out there. It's really helped us to create great outlines, and then we just find our tone of voice in that. So that helps us to create video scripts, to dig into the answers for the questions that we're finding on tools. I use an SEO tool called phrase.io to get my questions, but that same tool I share with you, Answer Socrates, is fine. We take that and then we develop answers, and then we lean into that and find our voice within those answers. So we're making the content creation process shorter and tighter, but what we're trying to do is make sure that the customer is getting the answer that they need in the most simplified way. When you do a search on Google, the thing that you're going for is the thing that answers your question and makes you feel like, hey, this person really knows what they're talking about. And then that's the first bite-sized bit of content that leads them to probably read your blog or watch video. And as we measure our videos, we're seeing that we're getting at least half an hour watch time. So that may be the second half of the video where we're giving more detail, or it may be the beginning part, but we understand that there's we're looking at the data to see how that content is also performing for us, because we're looking at content longevity and distribution across the right channels, right? That's where you want your content to be.
Excellent. Excellent. So I'm going to add 2 things to that Tamara alluded to is one of the topics that I'm going to pick up on next week, which is data analysis. So before Tamara could address the needs of the market, she had to first analyze the data that is out there that says, these are the questions that are being asked. Now, how do we turn that internally to our e-commerce websites or your business? You need to analyze the questions that are being asked on your website, the data that is being gathered on your website. This data is what is going to help you to grow, develop, pivot if you need to pivot, allocate limited resources. So it has to start with some sort of analysis of what is missing or what is known or what is unknown. Really important, all right? Any other ideas? Anyone else has any other ideas of how you go about creating content in a unique manner to, one, find your way through that clutter of content that is out there to reach your consumers or your potential customers? For instance, I know animation, stopgap animation and different forms of animations have now taken over the market as opposed to videos with actual humans in them. Any other ideas? Storytelling as opposed to content feeds.
Yeah, let me get in on that. Definitely, what I'll say is that it's important for us to understand the forms of content that best support our content strategy. As Tamara mentioned, people want to first identify that you solve the problem that you're looking to solve. But as I said, a very big part of the purchasing process online starts with engendering trust. So people have to feel like they can trust you, feel like you know exactly what you're talking about, you know what problems, what the solutions are, but more importantly, what are the pain points that you're solving for them. If I am online buying something and I know that you understand my pain point, then I know that whatever solution you're coming up with will address that directly. So doing things like explanation videos can be very powerful sometimes. You have these little doodles where persons have a pencil kind of drawing out an animated way of representing the content or representing the solution to the problem that you're solving. That's very powerful. Video content can be very expensive to produce sometimes, so we have to be very careful about our choice, but they are simpler and more, they are simpler, cheaper options, and they're also complex and expensive options. So for instance, having like a motion graphic ad can be done by a graphic designer. You don't actually need to shoot a video ad. You don't need to bring in talent and all those things that normally drive up video costs. You can get a motion graphic ad done at maybe say 100 to 200 USD and have it being done well, right? But you could also do an explanation video where you are shooting yourself speaking. I think people in a time when the internet is full of information, but also can be misleading, authenticity is becoming more valued, and you find that people are even choosing to shoot content in a more real way than being overproduced, meaning that they want people to feel like this is really coming from a real person. They don't want it to feel like it's a whole production so that they can connect with the audience. So in other words, they have some types of content where persons invest a lot and it's glossy and very produced and very pretty. And then there are simpler pieces of content where people just use their phones and shoot it, looking very primitive, unedited, unfiltered. And these pieces of content are sometimes the pieces of content that people will connect with the most. So whilst everybody else is going out there and making great investments in creating all these big videos and overproduced videos, you could cut through by just creating simpler video content that shows a realistic approach to the solution. Sometimes it's just, if you are the face of the business, sometimes it's just a matter of you putting your phone on a tripod and shooting yourself answering answers the questions, almost like you're interviewing yourself. These are things that you can do, especially when you're in the solution space, when you're in the service space, when you're in the consulting space. If you're in the product space, then you can shoot a video using the product. So let's say, for instance, you're a female business owner, you specialize in hair products or skin products, then you could shoot a video with yourself, with applying the product to yourself. Some of us are a little bit shy when it comes to putting our face on camera, or are using our face as the front of the business. Sometimes we don't have to use our face. We can use our voice and use demonstration, of application, explanation of the products, its advantages, its benefits. Even, I mean, you're not gonna give away your secret ingredient, but you could give them tidbits on how your products are created, because some people are sometimes, we live in a world where people have a lot of access to information, people have a lot of opinion. I've never heard the concept of gluten-free growing up. All of a sudden it's a big thing, So these are things that persons need to know, and we need to share, and we need to share it in the most authentic form for it to actually connect.
Brilliant, Leighton. I think last week or 2 weeks ago, I shared time management sample. One of the things that I would add to that, or that I have added to mine and I've been using for quite a while, is all of this content. Again, there's a overabundance of content out there, and there is limited time in any one of us, of our days, right? As small business owners, as business owners, you're constantly engaged in running that business. But I set aside time for content like the one that Tamara shares, whether it's an hour in the morning before, so I'm up by 4 o'clock every morning. It's a commitment I made to myself, right? I'm up by 4. Between 4 and 5, before 4 and 4:30, I'm taking in half an hour content. Then I make my way to the gym. Before I go to bed at night, I'm taking at least another hour and a half of content. Just ideas of how you manage your time. So there's a time for my empowerment, educational empowerment, that I set aside. Just ideas that I'm throwing out there that tend to work for me, because there's an overabundance of content and there's limited time in your day. Yeah, the other aspect of this that I was looking at, and I don't know anyone else if any of you guys have tried it or engaged in it, is storytelling and content taking the form of storytelling. So you aren't necessarily coming across as divulging information. As people of African descent, we tend to gravitate towards a lot of storytelling. A lot of our history is written in story format. Has anyone tried this or seen it done or engaged in it?
I would say to be honest, yes. I think that a lot of my presentations are done in the form of stories. The only thing that I don't necessarily produce content on it, but and I've been in two minds about it, because a lot of times I say, Alen, it's about time now that you start just shooting yourself, having these conversations, because it's very realistic, and it connects well with the internet audience. But it's a sales tactic that I use on presentations, where I try to tell the story of the customer, which is kind of what we try to do here with Nickel's Beauty. We try to tell the story of Nickel's Beauty, and then how we position our product as a solution to Nickel's Beauty's problem, right? And it's the same thing here with you guys. You're telling the story of different scenarios, and that's what that's how we kind of do it. We create a scenario for a brand, or for a product, or for a person, that they can resonate with, an everyday problem that they would be faced with. Need cash, need to go to the ATM, and they create a problem around being in the ATM and how you solve that problem, for example. Just throwing out a random example over here. Again, same thing. Let's talk about persons in here. There are many manufacturers in here who make skin products, who make body products. Talk about the story of talk about the problem that the person has. Let's create a story around the problem that you're solving. So Mas John went up the road, he slipped and he cut himself, and he went to the doctor, and the doctor gave him X, and because he has diabetes, it's not healing. And Mas John was out there searching for a solution, and he became frustrated. He tried your product, and blah 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 blah. The story goes on. So storytelling, I believe, it connects well, because it also gives you the ability to demonstrate a previous example of how your solution worked for others. In the B2B world, we kind of refer to this as creating a business case. A business case is where we would showcase an example of a problem that we solved, and in showcasing that example, we would have to tell a story about the customer, the challenge that they were having, how the solution was used, what are the outcomes. When you're telling that story, you have to outline the problem, outline the solution, outline how the solution was implemented, and finally, what is the outcome. You have to have those 4 elements in it for it to connect properly for a sale. And in a sense, what you're doing here in storytelling is you're writing or producing that story in different formats. You can write it in text, you can have it being a video that you just shoot yourself talking about. It can be done in a doodle, it can be done in as any creative way as you see fit. But people do connect with stories, and I believe that storytelling is one of the best ways to sell a product, especially one that people need to understand more about before buying.
Excellent. Well, first, so we have another 10, 15 minutes. I'm going to call, and I'm going to get 2 stories, right? Kathy, and I'm going to call on you to tell me your story of how you got to where you are with your product line from the beginning. How did you start off?
Hi, good afternoon, everyone.
All right, Katya.
Do I have a particular timeline?
5 minutes.
Oh, dear. Okay, you pounced on me. I hate talking. Anyhow, I am in dressmaking business.
Right.
My name is Kathy Ampile, and I practically started as a child because both my mother and my paternal grandmother was into sewing. So I started at the early age of about 12, just making my own garments. Eventually, I got my first daughter, some 20 enough years later, and the clothing was fairly expensive. So I decided I can do this. So I started making children's clothing and decided I was gonna make it a business. So I started with children's clothing and later developed into adult female clothing. After many years of just doing this on my own, I decided to go to get formal education, and I got my associate degree in fashion design. And I furthered my business from there. I don't do the children's clothing anymore, but I am into adult female clothing. So right now, this course is helping me to get the product online, because as we all know, after COVID, it is more pushing and more pressing to do the online business as opposed to just the brick and mortar. So basically, that is where I am at. I'm grateful for all the information that you guys are giving me.
Okay, wonderful. So how have you turned your business into a lucrative venture, the one that allows you to literally feed yourself, pay your bills, that type of stuff? What have you done? Why do people come to you?
Well, I am basically in the process of doing that now, because as I know I didn't mention, I did stop for quite a while after I had my last son. So this is why I am here now. I would go word of mouth. I would make clothing for persons in my society that I'm familiar with that are fairly prominent, so that as they wear their garment to an event, it would be said, well, this was made by, or even on the social media page, they would advertise that I made the garment. So that is how I am getting myself out there presently. So I just want to push it further by doing a online web page for me, rather than just using my friends to do it word of mouth or as they go about their own business.
I wouldn't discourage you from using your friends to continue, though. You should keep both of them. Anyone else? I don't want to pounce on anyone, so I'm looking for volunteers now. Give me a story. How you got to.
Before I move to the next person, I just want to highlight one very important thing here. And I like this exercise that Gilbert is doing, because it shows you the power of a story. At the end of the day, guys, when you tell your story, one of the things that you want to ensure is that what is that one thing that you want persons to be left with when they hear your story? What do they want to leave with? So when I hear Kathy Ann's story a while ago, what I hear is that she's been doing this for a very long time, and this is something that she's passionate about. So if I see Kathy Ann's catalog and it is visually appealing to me, I would expect that there will be great quality work. Because one of the things that about handmade stuff is that we love handmade things, but we don't want it to look handmade. Right? We want it to look very attractive. We want it to look very neat, very clean. And because Kathy Ann has explained to us that she has been doing this from a child, and something that she continues to do and is very passionate about, automatically my assumption is that I should be able to trust that she's doing this. Anything I get from her will be done at a certain standard because of how long she's doing it. I want to emphasize that at the end of the day, when we tell our story, we want to be mindful about what do we want to leave as a story. And whilst the other person is lining up the form, I just want to give an example of even my own story. When I meet with clients, a major part of them doing business with me is trust. After trust me, if they don't trust me, I no business with them. Because the client could be sitting next to me, or the client could be in Timbuktu. Trust is a very important thing. And when I tell my story, I tell my story to build trust. So I tell my story about how long I've been doing what I've been doing. I tell my story and includes the client that I've done work for. I tell my story and give examples of some of the technologies that I've built. I tell my story and mention awards that I've won. I tell my story and include things that I have done that were never done before in my industry, in my location, right? And I tell my story in a way that ensures that the customer understands that you don't get much better than me, if at all, we're looking for service providers of my aptitude or concern, because I want them to buy into me. I'm selling me when I'm telling my story, and I want us to always remember that. All right. Gilbert, back to you.
Excellent. Any other volunteers? Any volunteers who want to function anyone? Anyone? Any volunteers? I want to hear your story, how you started, how you get to where you are, what motivated you. I'm gonna have to call on the familiar names, man.
I don't mind volunteering here.
Okay, so we got two. So you guys got 2 minutes each. Let's go. Wayne and Jamie. Jamie, go first.
So the company Telecare is a health business because my husband's a doctor, and throughout COVID, he did a lot of telemedicine because people didn't want to go to the hospital because of the fear of getting COVID and all that. So, but one of our main challenges was always collection of those consults or for those consults. We did have online transfers, but it was you do the consult and then you have to be behind these people trying to collect, or you would make an appointment with them, and 2 minutes before your appointment, you've already scheduled this time away from everything else, and they cancel because there's no commitment since there's no payment that was made. So he wanted to centralize or formalize a platform where a patient would schedule, make the payment in advance, so to lock that, because our time is our inventory. So he wanted to lock that inventory, per se, if you want to call it that, so that they were obligated to show up. It wasn't that you made an appointment 3 weeks in advance. The doctor has already blocked out that time for you, and 2 minutes before your consult, because you have no commitment, you've never paid, you cancel out, and the doctor is sitting there like, oh my goodness, now they've lost all this time. Someone else could have used that block. So he wanted to formalize this. But we have 2 sons. So I left my work to concentrate on helping him build his platform, and it's been a dream of his. So it's finally, a platform that we can be proud of, where a patient can find a doctor. And also our country is very small and our health system is very limited or very difficult. So, and we have a lot of rural areas where a lot of patients can't travel to get but internet. Everyone has a phone, everyone has data, everyone has internet or some means of communication. So through our platform, they're able to never leave their homes, and they have that security that they can find a doctor. Before it was, I wonder if my doctor can see me, or I wonder if, they have to take a whole weekend off or a whole day of work to travel wherever they need to travel to get to see a doctor. And you go to a hospital and you sit there and you may not be able to see a doctor. But, so this is his dream, to be able to create this opportunity for patients who aren't able to easily see a doctor. And of course, for the doctors to secure a payment to get their medical outreach all over, because of course you have to wait till a patient comes to your consultation office. This way you can reach any patient anywhere around the country, because you can do it through telemedicine.
Excellent. So you come into the market because there's a need. So you're doing good whilst doing well. Excellent. Wayne, jump in.
Hi, can you guys
2
hear
minutes,
me?
Wayne. Yep.
Hi, can you hear me?
Sure.
Yeah, well, mine is short and simple. Mine was born out of a love for cooking, but a dissatisfaction for the store-bought barbecue sauces that I found we imported into Barbados. And every time I started when I started my cooking business in 2009, every time I go to the supermarket, I bought those store-bought barbecue sauces. I would always have to come back to enhance them. And I reached the stage where I thought it was, monotonous to have to be doing it all the time. And I decided, look, I can make these sauces And I can not only make good sauces, but I will make sauces that would embrace Bajan culture, things that Bajans would like. And that's why I have these 5 flavors. And I find that I always had this love and this passion, even though I never had that culinary experience in a school. My mom always taught me that food should be good and flavorful. And that's why then when I started Auntie Phyllis, I made sure that the sauces I made were not just flavorful, but they impacted individuals, that they embraced Bajan culture and people who wanted to have those sauces. And as I said, we offer then what we call a finished purchase and pour line of barbecue sauces, in that you can actually go to the store, buy the barbecue sauce, and just use it without having to go back home to do anything. And then it gives you, the consumer, choices. So rather than just have just a flat barbecue sauce, you have things that you like. Rum infused barbecue sauce. You can have one that is fruity with the pineapple. You have one that has a little heat with the mega burn. You have one that is extremely hot if you got these guys over for a ball night. Or if you just want something that is reasonable for the whole family, there's the original. That's it in a nutshell for my barbecue sauces.
Excellent, excellent. I really appreciate you guys sharing your stories. One of the things I would like to get into next week is some of your pain points of growing your businesses. All right. So we've been teaching on a series of different topics about how to get you into the e-commerce space. But we'd also like to know some of the challenges that you've had just establishing and maintaining and growing your business. All right. So thanks again, guys, for being here for another week. I'd love to see you guys next week. Have a great rest of the weekend.
Thank you. Have a great week.
Bye-bye.